Okay, team, let's start with the today's session. So first of all, we will track our progress about yesterday's task. Okay, guys, so all the members in the house, please launch the task form for yesterday. I will share you the link again because we have to be consistent in implementing these tasks. So I'm copying this link, pasting it to you. So parallelly, you can also do it. Okay, team, please launch this task, which is pasted in YouTube. Next, if you have already submitted it earlier, you need to click on edit your response. Okay, so let's click edit your response. So yesterday was 4th of August and we had 4 tasks for yesterday. So guys, be sincere. Based upon your progress, you need to record because it will help you to grow. So if you have done something, accordingly mark it. If you have not done something, accordingly mark it so that you can track your own progress. Okay. So guys, let's do a quick recap. What were the tasks of yesterday? First one, understanding the need of Git and branching. After that, creating your Bitbucket account, then the project there, repository there, proper branching needs to be created, installing source tree, and cloning the feature branch into the local machine with proper folder path. All this was the one task. If you have done it, please mark it as done. Next, understanding the need of the framework and why Spring and Spring Boot are so popular, exploring the official Spring related documentation, looking at the GitHub to understand this framework a bit better. What is this open source, jar dependencies, Maven, starters, so projects, modules. You should be comfortable with these terminologies because this is very day-to-day discussion in companies. Okay, so if you are now confident about these concepts, accordingly mark it as done. Next, moving to the third one, being clear how the front end and back end application is going to be coded, deployed, and executed. So the DNS, entry-level software like load balancer, API gateway, or Nginx, and then how the routing happens. So if you are clear with that, if you can draw a diagram to properly explain end-to-end flow, then mark it as done. Okay? Because in interview, you might have to explain. So please prepare accordingly. Next, let's move to the 4th task of yesterday, going to start.spring.io, filling up all the details, being clear with all the details, and making your first Spring Boot application, and then downloading it. So once you have completed all, accordingly you can submit. If anything is in progress, you can keep it like that. If you have not worked upon something, keep it as to do, and then do the submit. Okay, fine. This is what is task recording. Guys, if you're done with this, please quickly confirm. If your tasks are submitted, please quickly confirm. Because just listening is not going to work out. Even understanding is not going to work out. Practically doing it is going to help you. So we need to do it. And we need to be consistently doing. Not like 2 days ka motivation came and we are doing only for 2 days. Third day, say back to normal. Such things will not make you really strong in your technical skills. You need to be consistent, daily working towards that. Okay, guys, so it is very important. Chalo, multiple members have submitted the task. Very good. Okay, nice. Let's move to the next one, guys. We will reflect our current progress in Jira, and then we will continue with the today's technical topic. Because every day when you are in your company, first thing in the morning will be updating your status. So knowing what is going on, and that is called as a daily stand-up meeting. Okay, so every day, first thing in the office is going to be daily stand-up meeting. There you will be discussing what were you doing yesterday. Next, what is the plan for today? Next, what challenge are you facing? And how are you planning to overcome it? How are you planning to overcome it? Okay. Are we on track to finish the work as planned? Let's say if you say in 3 days some work will be completed. So are you on track? Every day in the morning you have to do this. So task recording, progress tracking, Jira updates, you have to keep regularly doing these kind of things. Okay. So let's go to Jira. We are as part of the board section. Next, yesterday we completed understanding framework. So the basic intro of framework is done. Further topics of Spring and Spring Boot we will do later. So yes, understanding framework we can mark it as done. Next, end-to-end working of the IT industry. We have completed it to some extent. Remaining things we will continue today, and let's see, maybe if required tomorrow also. But yeah, this is still in progress. We are working towards that. Okay. Next, with regards to this Spring and Spring Boot. So rather than saying coding, we can say intro of Spring and Spring Boot. Further coding will need to be like more clear to us. What is a container, dependency injection, dependency lookups, beans, and how those things are all managed by Spring, and then what are the Spring Boot features. So those topics are completely separate. Yesterday, we just got introduced to these two, and that is what was the target of this task. So yes, we are now introduced to the Spring related ecosystem, that somebody has already done the coding and how it is available in GitHub, how we can get it. So yes, we can say this introduction is also completed. Okay. After that, we did one more thing, which is working on Git. So we have some idea about working on Git. So that is another thing which we did. So we will mark it here as well. Working with Git. So we completed this work also. So we can move it here. Okay, working with Git. We will move it here, and this is also completed. Okay. Next, we are now coding our first Spring Boot application. So let's put up a task to track that one. Okay, coding first Spring Boot application. Guys, try to know it. Whatever work you do in your company, that has to be tracked in Jira. It is very important, because sometimes some of the projects, they might do your billing based upon this. Client will pay to the technical company based upon how much of task was done by the team members. So Jira tracking is very important. Whenever you do any work, there has to be some Jira task or a user story, which will be recording what work you are doing. Okay, so this is important. So now we will be doing coding first Spring Boot application. Okay, and rest of the topics will be coming up later. So these two are the important things of progress right now. Okay, chalo, let's start with the today's topic, guys. So we are starting with week 1, day number 3. And our aim of today's topic is coding first Spring Boot application. Okay, so guys, can we start with today's topic? Please give a quick confirmation. Can we start with today's topic? Everyone, your full focus is required. Please log in from your laptops. And we need to understand working process of the company along with developing the application, because both things go hand in hand. Okay. Okay. Multiple members are ready. Let's get up. Let's get up, guys. Chalo. So it is going to be important session today. Yesterday, whatever we were completing, we will continue from that point itself. Okay. Thank you for all the confirmations. Let's start with full focus. So team, we are going to build our first Spring Boot application. We know what is a framework. Somebody has already written the code and is available somewhere. We need that. Okay. What use case we want to build? Add method we will be coding. And our basic expectation is external people can call our add method. So external people should be able to invoke our method. So that is our requirement. So what is Spring providing? Spring is saying you just add a web Spring Web dependency. So if you just add Spring Web dependency, you will get all the code needed to expose your method to outer people. It is that simple for developers. So you don't even have to know which jar you want to take, what project, what module you want to work. No, just everything will come to you if you just use this kind of a term, Spring Web dependency. All the jars will come to you directly. So that's how they have simplified it. And for building our first Spring Boot application, multiple ways are there. One of the ways, go to start.spring.io. Okay. So yesterday we even explored that, but today I will be creating it once more so that we can again start fresh. Go to start.spring.io. So this is Spring Initializer. So Java project. Maven is going to be our build tool for all the jar management, dependency building activities. Latest stable version. Which company is developing the software? What will be the final output when you are building your application? If you are creating a jar file, so we are saying packaging should be jar. This is a common practice in the current environment. Almost majority of the projects use jar-based approach itself. Okay, so you want to package it as a jar file. Then you can say what that jar file naming can have this. This is the artifact. Okay. Next, the base package where all of your further code will be written. And how is the base package calculated? Initially, group ID, which will tell which company it is. After that, something which talks about this project, what exactly. So we can say, let's say demo. Next, which Java version we want to use, 17. Next, some configuration information might be there. So some projects use property file, some projects use YAML file. So whatever it is, both of them does the work. Whichever you feel more comfortable, easy to work with, you can choose that. And in one project, keep one standard. Don't try to mix two things together. So then it will become easy for everybody to adapt also. So we are choosing property file. Okay, next. So this will make a Spring Boot application. But what we want from our Spring Boot application, we want it to be a web application so others can call our APIs. To do that, we need to add the dependencies. Okay, so we go here and then we can say simply web, and just this dependency will give us all the power. So we can go here, add it. So it will help us to build web applications, REST APIs. What is REST API? Today we will do some discussion about this. Next, even there is something called as MVC application, front end, back end, executing together, proper coordination with each other. So that kind of application can also be built using Spring Web dependency itself. Another thing, for running a web application, we need some server. Just understand this. So for running the web application, you need a server. Tomcat is the default server which is provided. So whenever you want to run a web application so that other guys want to access your system, it will execute inside a server. Apache Tomcat is that default server provided by the Spring dependencies. So even for many production projects, they even use this Apache Tomcat itself. That is the default provided one. Okay. If they want to change this server to something else, that is also possible. Okay, fine. So this is how simple it is. Within 30 seconds, you can just choose this, choose what kind of application you want. You want to add more capabilities here, just go to this dependencies and you can add. Accordingly, you will get all those jars also. So many dependencies are possible, right? So, okay, based upon the need, we decide what to do. And here we already have it. In case you are not aware what to do, then go to AI. Go to Claude, go to ChatGPT and ask, hey, I want to build this application. I am at start.spring.io. What kind of dependencies should I add? You will get the list. Accordingly, you can add them. So use the internet and AI to solve your questions. Okay, that's how it is. So be a thinking person and use internet to address your answers. Okay, very good. So you choose all this information and finally you say generate. Okay. So accordingly, let's say we will be getting this kind of zip file. So inside this zip, our code is also available. Okay. So guys, what are we supposed to do? A bit critical, please understand. In the yesterday session, we have cloned Git repo, right? You guys remember it? Yesterday, there was a feature branch in Bitbucket. We have cloned that into local. Let's do a quick recap of that. Bitbucket. Next, here in the Bitbucket, we have our multiple projects. August 26 in that repositories. We created this repository yesterday, and this repository is having multiple branches. We created our integration branch and feature branch yesterday. Next, this feature branch, we have cloned it into our local. So a local repository is also created. And we chose one folder path for this, D drive, CT workspace. Next, August 26. Okay. And then inside August 26, repo folder. Next, name of the repository. Next, name of the branch. Here we created. Try to recollect yesterday's topic. All the code of the project should be available in this folder. And IDE should also be doing the update here in this folder. Okay. So what is required? Whatever we downloaded just now. Okay. Whatever we downloaded just now. So that code needs to come in this folder. And then we will set up IDE to work in this folder. Accordingly, we will be doing the modification. So you should not directly take this code and put it inside your IDE and start coding. No, the process of working is you always work with regards to Git repository. Don't do any additional modifications here and there into the system. So what will be our expectation? Whatever code we got from the zip, we need to take that entire code, put it inside this local repository, and then get this into our IDE, and then we can do the modification. So that is the process. Okay, guys, are we clear with this? Yesterday's topic, whatever you do the coding, it has to be inside Git. So whatever is the local Git repository with you, there you need to do the entire coding, not anywhere else into your project. Please quickly confirm, guys, if this is clear for you. Please quickly confirm. And maybe even if it is first time, once you do it, it will become more clear. And every single day, this will be our practice. So you will be definitely clear. Okay, multiple members are confirming. Very good, guys. So let me write down it into Notepad. You don't write it, just understand. It's very self-intuitive. So just focus and understand. From start.spring.io, get your first Spring Boot app with Maven, next Spring Web, next Java 17 dependency. That is step number 1. Next, don't directly start coding in this zip. Okay, rather put this code in local Git repo, which we cloned yesterday. So guys, process of working has to be very clear. Otherwise, confusion will happen. And now you will realize why do we do this? Because it is really superpower to developers. Okay, so you will find that thing happening now. So ek karke, one by one, we will go through. So we will be applying this code into this local repository. After that, point the IDE to this local repository and start coding. So how do you do that? Simple process, guys. Observe here. So we go to the download folder. Okay. So this is our code. Let me put something here. So from our repo, I will just go in explore section, and this zip, we will move it into this explore section. That is step number 1. Okay. Next, let's extract this, right click, extract all. So let's just get the code which came. So we go here inside, this is the code. So it is all prepared from start.spring.io itself. So this becomes our code. And what is our local repository? Under repo folder, this is our repository, and this is our feature branch. So what we will do is, we will copy this code from this extracted location and paste this here. So whatever replacing required, yes, override it, replace it. Okay. So this is the new code applied. Now, one thing you have to understand, guys, the power of this Git repository is something like this. Let's go to the source tree. Yesterday, we have cloned it in source tree. Source tree is going, in fact, Git basically does it. Source tree is providing a nice view to that. So what is Git doing? Git is tracking your changes. That earlier, these many files were not there into this location. Now, the user has added those many number of files. So constantly Git is doing this comparison. And as a developer, whenever you modify even one line change, you can come to this source tree and now you can observe, okay, oh, this is a new file which is created. This is also created. So guys, it is very helpful for you as a developer. Whenever you change anything into this folder, you can see what that change is here. Let's say by mistake, if you are deleting something, then also it is going to be visible. So this is really very strong for developers. Okay. So let me make a quick note about this. When you make any changes into the local repository, then Git will constantly, okay, show the differences of what new things has happened. New thing happened. So you will always get a chance to double check. By mistake, if you deleted something or added something wrong or made some mistake, no problem. You can go to this source tree and check that difference. Okay, fine. So that is what it is. Next what? So once you apply the code into the local repo, we need to get this in IDE. So guys, yesterday we took some poll into our WhatsApp channels, which IDE you will choose. So it is, yes, completely your choice. Whatever you are comfortable with, you do it. But guys, definitely some IDE has to be there for your development activities. So from start.spring.io, I have already installed this latest IDE, okay, C5.3 version. Let me launch that. Okay. So going to Spring tool URL, spring.io tools URL, this is downloaded from there. Okay. Again, few basic things. What should be the workspace? Yesterday we said something, all the project activities, we will put it under this location. So IDE might create some of the files for its internal purpose. So we are saying that base location of our project /IDE. So try to really habituate to this. It will become easy for you. IDE will generate some temporary files or internal files for its work. So where do you want to place that? So for this project, in this location, we want that to happen. So we can simply choose that itself. So I will just take this and launch this one. Okay, so this is the IDE workspace. This is the IDE workspace. Now, in this location, it is loading. Okay, this is how it looks like. Currently, it's all empty. We don't have anything here. So our next step is whatever code we have into our local repo location, this code should come into this IDE. Okay, so that is our target. So what we will do, be very careful. That's where we keep the proper naming so confusion don't happen. Repo means all your Git repositories will be managed here. So we will just go here. Okay, copy this URL. There is a good option in IDE to import the project. Multiple ways are there. This is one of the way. So we will simply import the project and search here for Maven and say existing Maven project. So we went to start.spring.io and there we created a Maven project. So whatever we get, that is going to be a Maven project. We can simply import that into IDE. So choose existing Maven project. Next, put the project location here. Okay. Whatever is the project name, you can choose. Okay, hold on. Looks like it is pasted 2 times. So be careful. So this is the project location. And fine. This is the project name. Okay, this is what it is. So guys, wherever the project is available in your local machine, the local repository, that folder path you need to give. There the pom.xml is going to be there. Maven project means it will read the data from the pom.xml. So just remember that. All Maven configurations will be available inside pom.xml. IDE also reads the pom.xml and will do some kind of setup for you. And generally, whatever is your folder name, you will give that itself as your name template. Okay. So once you choose this, just click on finish and give it a few seconds so that this importing can happen properly. Okay. By the time this is happening, let's understand this project code. This left-hand side. So inside Project Explorer, we can have this kind of a code, the view of the project. Okay, let's try to understand. src main Java. All your Java code is going to be here under src main Java. Next, src main resources. Any other information like your configuration files or anything else that you want, sometimes database scripts, sometimes logging configuration. So anything other than that will be part of your src main resources folder. And here you can create a lot of subfolders based upon need. So guys, these are the main 2 folders. src main Java will have your entire Java code. src main resources will have your any other files, configuration files, DB scripts, logging configurations, whatever will be under this place. And by default, whatever project we got from start.spring.io, some basic test case is also created for that one. So it is going to be available in src test Java. Okay, so some test case is going to be available here. Okay, guys, everyone, please open up your notepad and let's write down a few things here. Whatever we have done so far, let's summarize our steps. Everyone, please open up your notepad. Step number 1. Go to start.spring.io and get your first Spring Boot Maven project exported. It should be a web dependency. Please write this. You have it. Okay. Point number 2, extract this code into your local Git repo, which we have created yesterday. extract this code into your local Git repo, which we have created yesterday. Step number 3, import in your IDE. So with Eclipse, we showed how is the way. You can check for all the other IDEs, what is the mechanism to do that. Okay. Whenever you are facing any confusion, go to internet, go to AI, get the answers and start solving your problems. Next, import into IDE. Now what we are doing, we are understanding the project structure. Okay, guys, write down these 3 things. Once it is written, please quickly confirm. Then we will move to the next point. Okay, team, once you are done, please confirm. Then we will move to the next point. And don't try to memorize all these things, guys. Try to practice it. What is experience? You do something so much that you just know it. So don't try to remember these things. Try to practice it more. So this will become a part of you. And you will actually then start transforming as an experienced person. Okay. Students will try to remember it, but you should not try to remember. You should try to practice it so much. Many times set up this thing, download this. Automatically life will become so easy for you. So become experienced person already. Okay. Thank you for the confirmations, guys. Let's move forward. Thank you for the confirmations. So once we have this, now we are understanding the project structure. No need to write it. Just understand. src main Java is Java code. Any other files will be in resources. So for example, property file, database scripts, logging configurations. Sometimes if any front-end assets are there, it will also be added into this place itself, src main resources. And this is going to have your testing related things. Next, in Maven, we said we need Java 17, start.spring.io. So we got some Java 17 related libraries in our class path. Okay. All the jars along as part of your Java 17, just see JDK 17, JDK 17. So we have got that one here. Next, just notice we chose to add web dependency, right? So all the configurations of Maven is in this pom.xml. Opening this pom.xml, double click, it is coming here. Okay. And if you scroll through this, notice Java version 17 is specified here. Next, Spring Boot version 4.1 is specified here. So we have chosen that only, right? We chose some project metadata, group ID, artifact, some default version it has updated. Nothing but whatever we were selecting in start.spring.io, that information is available here. Okay. There is one thing with this XML which comes to you by default. One of the certificate here, it is accessed by HTTPS, and there is some issue with that. So let's make it HTTP. Okay. So by that way, this error can go away. So they are all HTTP links where some configuration for this XML is available. Okay, so you can just get rid of that and then focus. Spring Boot 4.1 version is there. Next, Java version 17 is there. We added Spring Web. Because of that, you are getting the web dependency. And by default, the start.spring.io internally, it is adding the test dependency also. So that is taken care. Next, for running Maven commands, we will get this kind of a plugin. So that is a simple pom.xml. Okay, so let's do a quick save. Now, the beauty of this configuration is we don't know which jars are required, but Spring team is aware of that. Spring has created this starter configuration. Accordingly, Spring internally is going to make a lot of jars available to you, and all those jars are as part of, just see this, Maven dependencies. Just see, look at the left-hand side. So many number of jars are provided in your application. So indirectly, they are coming to you. Okay. So we don't have to then remember which jar is for what purpose. However, you just have to remember what dependencies you want to work with. It will add the required configuration. And this is all pre-written code. And we are just getting it. And we can just take the benefit of that. Okay. So guys, if it is about understanding this structure, we can simply say, let's copy this. We will put this into Excalidraw. Let's go here. Okay. So even if you are first time building a Spring Boot application, still no problem. You can build it nicely by understanding this. Okay. So under src main Java, your entire Java code is going to be available. Next, src main resources. Under this, you can have your other files. Okay, maybe if you want, your config files will be there, .properties or .yaml. Next, .sql scripts will be there. In the future project, we will be adding this SQL scripts and other things here. Sometimes if you need some logging configuration is also going to be available here. Maybe if project needs some static assets, let's say UI assets, so that is also going to be available here. If you want to put some, let's say, PDF docs or text documents for some purpose, it is also going to be available. Nothing but any other resources will be part of this place. Okay. Next, this application.properties is the default file which is created. Means what is going to happen when the Spring application is coming up? Okay, your Spring Boot application is going to read the configuration inside application.properties. So it is the default configuration file. Okay, default config file. So Spring Boot will read it by default. Next, this is the test. And here you will be having your unit testing related code under src main test. You will have your unit testing code. Next, we have chosen the Java version 17. So accordingly, we are getting this Java version 17, JDK 17 dependencies are coming here. JDK 17 libraries are coming here. Next, Maven configuration is available inside pom.xml. So here Maven configuration is available. Now, whatever dependencies came because of this Maven configuration is available here. Okay. So much of the work happened. But for developer, how was it? 30 seconds. Choose, download. That's it. But so much of work happens. And IDE understands these things and accordingly makes the project available for you. Right? So this is nothing but based upon Maven configurations. Based on Maven config, you are getting the jars. Guys, take a minute to understand the project folder structure, how the project looks like into your IDE. Everything should become very clear to you. Okay. Next, this is our base package. If you remember, we have chosen this base package again in start.spring.io. So this becomes our base package. Means all your Java classes should be under this package, com.example.demo. Inside this, your Java classes will be there, or you can have your sub packages, and inside that you can create. So that is what is the base package. Okay, now if you look here, let's open this base package. There is only one Java class, demo application. Let's open that, guys. Okay, notice a simple, your core Java main method is available. Public static void main, and that's it. Now this line number 10 is what is starting your Spring Boot application. So you can just run this as a core Java application for you. Just run this kind of a main method, whatever you learned in your core Java using the Java command, and automatically this will start your entire Spring Boot system for you. Your Spring Boot project will be up if you just run this main method. Now there is some significance about this line number 10. What? It is expecting you to pass some class there, which is this class itself. And this class is annotated with @Spring Boot application. Again, in your core Java, you might have seen @override. So @override is an annotation. Annotation means special behaviors will come to your project. There is logic written behind the screen whenever you use some annotation. So accordingly, this is also an annotation because it is starting with @ Whenever you take this class and mark it with this annotation, it means behind the screen, Spring Framework team has written some code which makes this a very powerful class to start your Spring Boot application. And when you run this kind of a line statement, all that power is going to activate and Spring system will start and your project is going to execute. Okay? So simple. This is that simple main class which starts your entire Spring Boot application. Okay? So let me write down one liner about this. You guys don't write it, just try to understand. Our project is having one main class, okay, with special annotation, which starts our Spring Boot application. So whenever main method is executing, it will run this, and this class should be annotated with this, and that is where your Spring Boot application will come up. Okay, and that's it. This is the entire overview about the project. Okay, about the project structure. Fine. Guys, are we clear with this? Can we move to the next point? Please quickly confirm. One by one, as the topics are coming, take it. Pure practical understanding we are doing. We are not getting into too much beating around the bush and too much of theory. No, we are doing from the perspective of practicality what is needed for working into the IT industry. Okay? And this is how people just adapt and they start working very quickly. And that's how we are trying to understand the things from that perspective. Okay, guys, thank you for confirmations. Let's do one quick thing, team. Let's write a quick summary about this, and then we will go further. Okay, so write down one liner about this. Understand and explore the project structure which got created from start.spring.io. That's it. This one liner is enough. Further, you can explore based upon this thing. Okay. Okay. Now, let's discuss this one point, guys. I think we can do one nice experiment so that you can get further confidence on this topic. Yesterday we did this, right? Let's say spring.io, and our project, let's say Spring Framework, and let's launch this Spring project. Okay. Now, in the Spring Framework, if you go to this code section, you will find a lot of code of Spring is available. Just experiment with one of the class, let's say REST client. So Spring team has written REST client project, and notice it is available in some Spring-web module. Okay, so let's just launch this. So Spring team has written this kind of an interface, REST client.java, which is an interface created by so-and-so person, version 6.1. And this class is available as part of Spring Web module, which is, we can see it is there in the GitHub. Now, if you can just take this class name, REST client, go to your project, and let's run one of the IDE shortcut, Control Shift T, open type hierarchy, okay? And we will put this, let it do some indexing, REST client. Notice, somehow in our project also, we got that. Where it is available, if you click on this expand, REST client interface code is there in our project. Where it is available? It is available part of spring-web.jar. And now you can see that, yes, these people have created inside spring-web that kind of an interface. So guys, yesterday we said the coding is already done by the framework. We might need it in the application. It comes to us in the form of jar files, and we are able to see that happening in front of our eyes. Just notice this REST client interface, same code created by so-and-so guy, 6.1 REST client, and methods get, head, post. You go to this code, get, head, post. It's all available. It is in Spring Web. Yes, the jar here is also Spring Web, and it is available part of your Maven dependency. So guys, this is what is the power of framework. So much of the code is already done by somebody, and we might need it for our project functionality. And yes, we have it accordingly. Okay? So it is a good practical demonstration. So let me write down one liner for you. Explore how REST client, which is available in GitHub, Spring Code GitHub, is also available in your IDE jar. What shortcut I did? Control Shift T. So you can open any Java types here, which is there inside jar file also. Okay, so Control Shift T. Every IDE will have their own ways, figure out the shortcuts, and accordingly you can use it. I will later create a new sheet for IDE shortcuts as and when we are doing it. Maybe right now itself is the time. So let me do IDE shortcut. So you should start using these things so that it becomes like very fast for you to work. So the first is Control Shift T. So when you do this basically means type hierarchy. You can open any Java type even inside your, even in jar files. And IDE is having some decompiler built in. So even if it is dot class, we are able to see the code of that. So IDE has that kind of mechanism. Okay, fine. This is good. Now let's continue further. We have our project here with us. Our next aim is we need to execute this project. Please note, we have not coded anything here. Okay, we want to execute this project. So how do you execute? We are discussing all things very basic, and so that everybody, even with simple core Java understanding, can understand all these concepts. So everything step by step we will go. Okay, no need to rush because this is foundational discussion. So in order to execute this project, multiple ways are there. So multiple approaches, different times you will use different approaches. I will give you first approach to start with. What is that? Simple. Using Maven commands, we can execute your Spring Boot application. So when we added Maven dependency, Maven provides some commands to execute Spring Boot application. Basic approach, what you need to do is, there is a Maven command. You run Maven commands by using mvn. And then you say package. So this mvn package is going to read your pom.xml. It will look for your dependencies and make sure all the jar files are available with you. If in your local laptop you don't have the jar files, it is going to get the jar files for you. And after that, it is going to compile your Java code. And then it is going to prepare the jar file out of it. So this Maven package is like a lot of things. First of all, it is going to, if you don't have the jars, it will download jars for you in your laptop based upon your pom.xml dependencies. If you already have the jars, it is not going to get you. If you don't have it, it will look at your pom.xml, get you the jars, put it with you. Okay, step number 2, it is going to compile the Java code that you have written, compile Java code, and then it is going to prepare a jar file. This happens when you simply do Maven package command. So this is the step number 1. You build this. So this is also called as the build activity. Okay. So using Maven package, you can do this. The jar file will be prepared. Next step, how do you execute? Again, Maven command is there for that purpose also. You can simply do mvn spring-boot:run, and that's it. Your application runs. So this is also as part of the Maven command itself. They have given some special command, spring-boot:run, and this will run your Spring Boot application. So this is a simple approach of running your first Spring Boot application. This is one of the approach. There are many ways. Let's start with this way, and then we will experiment with some alternate ways also. So what we will do, first we will run this command, Maven package. It will do all these activity. Later we can simply do this. Now there is another way also. There is one more command which is used. When you do this Maven package, it generally creates some temporary files for you under this target location. Okay. So it will generate some temporary files. If you want to delete those kind of files, all the previously created temporary files, you want to delete that, then you can use this command, Maven clean. Okay. So it will delete the previous generated temporary files. So these some basic Maven commands we have to be aware as a developer. So when you do Maven clean, previously whatever temporary files were created, it is going to delete that. When you do Maven package, if there are dependencies which are jar files which are not there with you, this guy is going to make it available. Okay, after that what? When we do compile, it will do the compile of your Java code, and then it is going to prepare the jar file. Okay, let's try to run this command. Now, where do you run this command? One thing is, first of all, when you are installing the IDE, guys, this is important. Please make sure your Java 17 is installed and do the JDK installation. Okay, JDK installation. And I will suggest set up the Oracle related one, because sometimes some of the people have used some other JDKs, and then unnecessary when you're running this Maven, it has some problems with that. So try to get the official Oracle related JDK, and then using exe, set it up into your laptop, so that when you go to command prompt and you do this Java space -- version, you should be able to see that Java is installed. This much of setup you have to do as the step number 1. Okay. So everybody, very important, JDK 17 from Oracle, set up in your laptop, and even you have to set it up into the path variable, so that when you type this from your command prompt, it should show that the Java is set up properly. Everybody should do this. After this, yes, you go ahead with your IDE setup. So whatever STS, Eclipse STS, or IntelliJ VS Code, Cursor, Anti-Gravity, or whatever you want to use. So that you do after you have your Java executed. Okay, fine. Now the thing here is, when you are installing this IDE, okay, sometimes along with Eclipse, for example, you will get the Maven also. Okay, inbuilt Maven. So you don't need to have Maven separately installed. But just imagine if your IDE is not providing Maven inbuilt, so you have to then install Maven also separately into your laptop. Again, Maven will be a software, find the compatible version for the Java 17. So if you want, you might have to install Maven separately. But for all the guys who are planning to use this Eclipse STS, you don't have to really have it separately. Directly with you, it is going to be available. Guys, again, use AI for all these. These are very basic, straightforward things. Ask it, okay, what software, where to execute, how to execute. If you face errors, paste it back to AI, get it sorted, and unblock yourself. Okay, fine. But yeah, we need to have Maven running either direct installation or indirect installation. If Maven you have installed, for example, mvn --, version, let's see, let's see, is Maven installed? Yes, Maven is installed in my machine available on so and so path. But so if you have this, all Maven commands, you will run it via mvn. So what will you do? You will go to this project location where your pom.xml is available. So you will go there, you will do cmd, and from here you can run all those Maven commands, mvn clean, mvn package. That's how you do it from the terminal. So here you will type all those Maven commands. Okay, but if you are running it directly from your IDE, so there is a way to directly do that. How do you do it? You just click on this project, right click, run as, and then this Maven 3 dots. It will launch a pop-up in front of you. In the goal section, you can write your Maven commands. One important thing you have to understand when you're running it in IDE, you should not write the initial word like mvn. You straight away mention the rest, clean, package, or directly this one. Okay. So guys, if you are manually installing Maven in your laptop and you want to run it via this command prompt, then you need to use the mvn word there and then followed by that the Maven commands. If you are running it from your IDE, so you don't have to pass the mvn keyword, just the command is okay, where you can simply say, let's say, clean. Okay, so just type clean here in the goal section and just execute. Let's try to do that. Okay, notice what has this clean command did. It is trying to delete something. What? Okay, whatever is available inside this target, it is trying to delete that. So whenever you are running Maven commands, it will generate some temporary files or some files under this target folder. If you are trying to every time run, it might use the jars or files which it prepared in the previous run. So you did run one, it created some files. You are doing the run again. Old files might be there. So sometimes second time run might not reflect all the new files. It might use the old ones. So always it is a recommended practice. Whenever you are using the command, earlier you always do a clean. Okay. So after that, you can go ahead doing a package. Because if you don't delete the previous ones, sometimes when you run even this command, it might have overlap. Some files of the previous command will be there. Some files which you are running right now will be there. So guys, you have to always first do a clean. And after that, you need to do a package. So let's do a package here. So we go here and then we go right click, run as Maven build, and simply type the package here and then click on run, and let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. What exactly is happening here? Notice one by one. Internally, it is doing some work. Whatever is available in our SRC main resources, it is trying to move it inside target slash classes. We told, right? It generates some things under target folder. So it is just moving there so that it is the Maven workplace under target location. Then what it is trying to do? It is trying to compile the Java code that we have. We have demo application.java. So it is saying compiling one source file. How do you compile in Java? Are you using Java C? This is what this guy is also doing. And then, yes, it is available inside target classes. After that, what? After that, what it did? Okay, so then it is moving through further location, trying to deal with some SRC test resources. And notice here, we even have one test class with us, demo application test.java. So it is compiling that also. And by default, whenever you are running this Maven package, if there are any test cases, it will run those test cases also. So currently, yes, our project is having the test cases. So basically nothing. Start.spring.io has just written few annotations in a test case. But the power of this @Spring Boot test annotation is it is going to start your Spring Boot application. And that is what is happening here. It is trying to run your test case, which is starting your Spring Boot application. You can see 4.1.0 Spring Boot application is started. And once it is fully done, okay, then it is saying, okay, so application is working fine. And just imagine, final step, it is building the jar file. And that is what we said, when you do package, it prepares the jar file. The default naming of the jar file is what we have already specified. Here, in artifact, we gave some name. So our jar file is also having that thing included. Whatever name we gave here, that kind of name is available. And it is additionally adding some version, okay? For maybe every time you want to build a new jar file, you might have to have like a new version, okay? And that is going to be added automatically. And that is what these guys also did. Some time ago, we saw in Maven, okay, just see spring web -7.0.8.jar. So the artifact name and the version name. So that could be a common practice for some projects. So that is how it is available. But guys, are you getting this? When you do a Maven package, these many number of operations happened by default. Take a minute to understand. Maybe some of you might already know all this, but again, it's good to recap the basics so that you are in full control of your understanding. That's what we said. Everybody, 0 to 2 years experience, 0 to 3 years of experience. From that perspective, we will discuss everything. Just your core Java knowledge should be good and basic JDBC you should have done. Everything else we will discuss. Everything is practical knowledge here. So guys, let's write it into Notepad. What happens when you do Maven package command? They might just discuss these basic things in interview with you. Okay, so please write it down. Maven package command. Now, I said if some jar file, you need a dependency, the jar file is not there with you, it will download also. Currently, whichever jar was required, it is already available in my laptop. So it did not really try for it again. But yes, it will handle those dependencies also. If you are new, your laptop does not have dependencies, first it will download all the jars for you. Okay, so please be aware of that also. So what happens when you run the Maven package command? Okay, let's write it down. First, copies SRC main resources to target folder. That's what we have seen here. our application.properties is going to go to the target folder. Next, compiles Java code. It is simply saying using Java C itself. In your core Java, you have done compilation using Java C. This is how you do it with your Maven build tool. Project will always use build tool. So you will do the compilation using like that. Okay, next. If you are enabling test cases, there is a way you can turn the test case off also. So default test cases enabled. So what is going to happen? It will compile test case, test class, and then it is going to execute test class, which is going to basically run your system. Okay. And if this execution fails, it is going to terminate the process. Otherwise, it will continue to go on. So yes, it will execute the test class. After that, it is building jar file. After that, it is building the jar file, which is nothing but the final artifact of your project. Why it is building jar file? Because in start.spring.io, we told that we want the jar file. Here we said packaging should be jar file in the end. That is the reason we got packaging jar file. Okay, very good. Please write it down. Building the jar file. And how is the name of the jar file composed? It is artifact, which you have chosen there, and then hyphen some version. If you don't want these versions and all, you can remove all that. It is possible. You can change the things. But yeah, this is the default nature. Just add one more statement. Note, if the dependent jars are not available in your local machine, dependent jars needed in pom.xml are not available in your local machine, then package command will first install them to your machine. You might have this question, right? From where are we getting all these jars? Somewhere it is available in internet. Okay, there is a place called as MVN repository. So this MVN repository is having all the jars available, guys. So whenever you're trying to build anything, you have to be connected to internet for this. So the Maven build tool is going to connect to this MVN repository, download all the required jars, keep it with you into your local temporary laptop folder, and then supply it to your project. Okay, this is how the work happens. So Spring has made it ready. Now those jars are now all available as part of this MVN repository. And whenever you are building all these activities from this place, jars will be taken and made available to your project. Okay, so that is a good thing. mvnrepository.com. Better to know this name, mvnrepository.com. So just write it. If the dependent jars, which is needed in POM, is not available in your local, it will first install in that machine. From where? Okay, jars are available in MVN repository. In MVN repository, from there, it will be downloaded to your local laptop and available in your project Maven dependencies. This is how the flow happens. Chalo guys, once you have written this, please quickly confirm. Then we will move to the next point. Team, once you're done with this, please confirm. Team, once you're done with this, please confirm. Okay, chalo, multiple members confirming. That is good. Please write down. Please write down. Please understand everything very basics and clear. Be clear with all this. Okay, nice. Let's do one more time experiment. Okay. So you can combine these two commands together also, guys. For example, you can write mvn clean package. Both the commands together you can do. So then what it will do? First, it will try to delete. After that, it will try to do the package activity. So generally, we always try to do it like this: clean package. So rather than running it 2 times, we always try to run it together. So how do we do it? So you will go to this project, right click, run as, Maven build, and then we will put both here. Okay, clean space package. Now, if you want the test cases should not execute, you can simply click here, skip test. Okay. So if you don't want the test case to execute, you can simply do skip test. If you want it, you uncheck this. So yes, it's up to you. So let's say we skip it and we simply do clean package. So first it will delete old and then it will do the new activities for you. So let's do that. Run. Okay. Notice what is happening. First, it ran the clean command, it deleted. After that, it continued with the package command. We said skip the test cases. So this time it is not really trying to do anything with the test case related things. Okay. Only your Java code is managed. Test case related, it has completely not copying, not compiling, and test case are skipped. And then straight away moving into the jar building approach, which is prepared. So you can play around with that. Okay, fine. Let me just mention this. So this is what you can do. You can skip the test case from executing as well. Okay, we have seen that. So fine, this is the first part, how you build it. Now comes the second part, how you execute it. Everybody, please put your full attention. These are basic things, be clear. And from there, we will start discussing more and more next topics. Foundation should be clear and then you incrementally keep adding more to this. We are going to start from the basics and go to the very advanced stuff. But yes, we have to catch up the mentality so that we all are on the same page at the beginning level. So we will go to the very basics and then build from that level. Okay. Okay. Now comes the next point. What is that? How to execute this? Build is done. How to execute this? Already we have seen the command. We can simply do Maven spring-boot:run and it is going to execute as well. Sometimes along with just running it, we can also put this with a clean word also. So previous execution related things will be cleaned and then freshly it is going to start your application. So this is also a common way of doing it. Clean and then spring-boot:run. So let's try to run this project. Okay. So guys, let's do it. I'm removing the previous occurrence. And now we will go right click, run as Maven build. And then let's do here clean spring-boot:run. Be careful with the syntax. If you miss any word here and there, typos, so it will be problem. If you put mvn in the beginning, again problem. So the command is very particular. Clean space spring-boot:run and let's run it and see what happens. Okay, now notice the behavior. Packaging did not happen, jar did not happen, but first clean has deleted. After that, your files went there. Next, your Java code is compiled. Okay. Next, it is even compiling your test class. It is not running your test class. Rather, your entire application is started. Notice, your entire application is started. And look at this command, spring-boot:run we did. So it is running your application. And there is no error in the end. It means application is up and running. Observe the second thing. Here there is a red mark. If you do a mouse over there, it is saying terminate. Means something is running and you have the option to terminate it. That means our command is successful. Spring Boot application is up and running. How do you confirm the third thing? Always note that whenever you run your Spring Boot application, it is going to occupy a port. So you should see this kind of a statement. Tomcat started on port 8080 means your Spring Boot application is running now on port 8080. Multiple things we are learning at the same time. Now, today itself we focused here. In order to run your web project, we need Tomcat. And that is what you are able to see that in the logs. Okay, Tomcat started on, and then Tomcat is running on 8080. And inside this Tomcat, our Spring Boot application is executing. So a lot of things happening here. Okay. Let's take a minute to re-summarize our understanding. So what exactly happened? Using this command, we are running our Spring Boot application. Okay. Now, our Spring Boot app, don't write anything, just understand. Our Spring Boot app is a web app, nothing but Spring Web dependency. So what is the expectation? Web projects execute inside a server. Next, did we install the server from anywhere? We have not installed any server. Then how is the Tomcat coming? Along with the Spring dependencies itself. This concept is called as embedded server. Embedded server. So people might say this is an embedded Tomcat. What is embedded? Embedded means given already inside. It is embedded inside the application itself. So you don't have to now go and find what is the compatible Tomcat version and then install that and execute it separately. All that headache is gone. Spring Boot is giving this feature of embedded Tomcat so that along with your application itself, you're getting the needed Tomcat related capability to execute that application. So you don't need to know anything about Tomcat and you are able to work with such a big server behind the screen. Power of Spring Boot, simplicity of application development here. So notice what is happening. Guys, everybody, focus. When we are running this kind of a command, it is executing our Spring Boot application. And our Spring Boot application is a web application. Web application needs a server and embedded server Tomcat is there. So when we executed like this, yes, Tomcat started and is running on port 8080. So that is where inside Tomcat, our Spring Boot application is running. These are the concepts so far. Inside Tomcat, our Spring Boot application is running. Okay. Let's discuss another point. Many times in interview, they will say this. What is the default port when you run your Spring Boot application? Default port is 8080. Okay. So please be aware. Default port when running Spring Boot app is 8080. Yesterday we said default port for HTTP protocol is only 80 and default port for HTTPS protocol is 443. Please be aware, these are default porting behaviors. So we need to know the differentiation between them. So the default port when running Spring Boot application is 8080. Default port for HTTP is 80. Default port for HTTPS is 443. No need to write anything. Later we can summarize. What are the remaining things? Let's understand this with a diagram. So we go here, and currently what is happening? There is Tomcat which is up and running. Okay, there is this Tomcat which is up and running. Tomcat which is up and running. And inside this Tomcat, we have our Spring Boot application which is running. Okay, Spring Boot application. And when we start this application, in our laptop, we have these kind of ports. So this Tomcat server is occupying our port 8080. This Tomcat is occupying our port 8080. Okay. Why we are understanding this thing? Because we want to now test the system. We want to use the system. Let's say you will write your add method into this. And when you're doing this add method, we want to call your add method. So for that, this knowledge is required. So when you run your Spring Boot application, and it is a web application, Spring Web dependency, so it is going to activate the Tomcat, and then your Spring Boot will be running inside that. And then they are occupying the port 8080. Okay, that means if you want to connect to this Spring Boot application, you need to connect on the port 8080. The way if you have worked with JDBC to connect with a Oracle or a MySQL or a PostgreSQL, you have to somehow connect with the where it is running, right? You have to specify the IP of that and then the port of that. Similarly, just imagine if you are now in a browser. So this is your browser. And from your browser, you want to connect to the Spring Boot application. You need to specify where your Spring Boot application is running. How do you specify that? First of all, we are all operating on a protocol, which is HTTP protocol. So either HTTP or HTTPS. Web communication will happen based upon this protocol, HTTP or HTTPS. After that, you have to tell to your browser two things. First is where your Spring Boot is running. Okay. Second, what port it's running on. So these are the details needed, guys. Whenever some kind of a software, let's say browser, wants to connect to your Spring Boot application, it will need these details. Where your server is running, where your application is running, and what port it is serving. And then there is the syntax which comes along in a HTTP based world, which is HTTP:// you need to specify server IP or where the server is running. You have to give that server domain or IP, whatever you can, but server location should be there where the server is running, and then : the port it is operating on. Guys, this is how any software connects with any other software using HTTP protocol. Okay, let's do a quick recap of what we are discussing. Everyone, Please open up your notepad. We will write down some conclusions. Then we will repeat this thing again. No problem. One by one we will do. Okay. Everyone, please open up your notepad. Let's write it down. To work with your first Spring Boot application, what is required? First, you have to code the application. Second, you need to build and execute the application. Third, you have to use the application. Yes or no? Three things you have to do. If you want to work with a Spring Boot application, first you have to code the application. After that, you have to compile and execute the application. And after that, you have to use the application. And you do the same thing for any other project, even a core Java. First you code, then you compile, execute, and then you run it and see using your application. So 3 steps. First, you have to code it. Then you have to build, which is nothing but the compilation, those kind of phase, and then run it. And then you have to use it. 3 steps will be there. Now, what did we do for coding the application? We simply used start.spring.io and then we got it imported to IDE. That's it. We did not change anything. We simply did this activity. Okay. For building and executing, we followed one of the approach using Maven commands. What is that Maven command? Clean package. And after that, clean spring-boot:run. Write it down. Write it down. This is how we did the build and execution activities. That is the step number 2. What is the outcome of the step number 2? Let's write down that also. What is the outcome of the step number 2? Tomcat, which is nothing but embedded server, is running in local machine on port 8080. That is what is happening. Okay. Third concept is clear. And guys, don't say it is confusing. Don't say it is confusing. You are listening it for the first time, so the concept might be new to you. But try to deeper understand it with logic. Then it will become simple for you. Because the industry is working like this. And these are again very basics. So whether you are getting it or not, you have to put efforts and get it. Not getting is not an option for you. Okay? That's what. You want to build a great career, so we have to work for that. So let's work for that. Okay? Something is not clear, no problem, write it down. Watch the video again, go to the internet, go to the AI, but grab the topic and become comfortable with it. Don't say, I am not able to do it. Because future may you want to do all these things, right? Right now is the time. Don't push things for future. Right now is the time. Okay? Many might already be comfortable. So yeah, be strong on the basics. A good topic. So guys, this is the step number 2. Embedded Tomcat is running and then it is coming on this. Now comes using your application. So which basically, let's write it down. To access this Spring Boot application from outside, let's say from browser, we need to know this thing. First, what protocol it's serving. Second, where your Spring Boot app is running. Third, what port it's running on. And accordingly, your syntax, okay, web URL syntax is going to be HTTP/HTTPS. One of this. :/ server location :port. Okay. Now, currently we don't have HTTPS setup. So we can say HTTP : where it is running. Right now it is running in my local machine. So there is a universal name for this called as localhost. Localhost is a universal domain name, which if I use it, it means my machine. If you use it, it will mean your laptop. If anybody is who is using it, that particular machine is called as a localhost. So it's a universal understanding of the term localhost. So whenever I use the term localhost, it means the server is running in my laptop. When you use the term localhost, it will mean it is running in your laptop. So what is the server location? Okay, localhost, it is running with me. Okay, what port it is offering? Port is 8080. That's it. This becomes your web URL. So write down this also, guys. Write down the step number 3 also. Once you are done, please give a quick confirmation, and then we will move to the next point. Okay, guys, please write down the step number 3 also, and then confirm once it is done, then we will move to the next point. Practice these things. These are very basics, guys. These are like ABCDs. These are ABCDs. You have to know in and out about these things. Okay, very good. Thank you for confirmations, everyone. Let's move one step forward, guys. Thank you for all the confirmations. Let's go one step forward. Now, okay, team, we will be launching this kind of a URL from our browser. So we will go here. First, always, whenever you want to now do the testing, your funda will be something like this. We started our Spring Boot application. Right click, run as clean spring-boot : run. So before trying to test your application, you should always verify, did you save the entire code? Second, when you started your application, do you see this kind of statement in the end? Tomcat started on so and so port. Third, whether this red mark option is there for you, means option to terminate. If these 3 things are done, then only go to testing further. Because many times I have seen juniors, there is something wrong during the application startup itself, or it is down, and then they go to browser and then they are worrying why it is not running. So always remember this small tip. Okay, before testing your application, always ensure below. Don't write it, just understand. Always ensure below everything is saved. Second, server up and running on some port. Third, option to terminate is there. If anything is here itself problem, so basically you should not even go to browser to test or wherever. Okay, and once these 3 things are done, then you test it. Okay, fine. So now let's go here and we say http ://localhost :8080. Why this 8080? Because that is our port here. So now we will go here to the browser in a different tab and we will say this one. Okay. Now take a minute to think, is this success or is this failure? Is this success or is this failure? This is success. We are able to connect on HTTP protocol in my local machine on 8080, and fine, there further something did not happen. But what is our testing? Currently, we are trying to test whether application is running or not. So this is a success. We should be happy to see this. So guys, please try to understand, when you are doing coding and testing, it's not like you just need the perfect end solution. Coding, application development is a step-by-step journey. So currently, this is grand success for us. We are able to successfully connect to some server which is running on 8080 in our local machine. For example, if we go to this IDE and we terminate this by clicking the red option, just see we stopped it. Then you go back here and then you try to refresh this page. What's happening? It's not connecting anywhere. Now you are able to see, okay, oh, so there is a problem here. So guys, you need to get some maturity to really understand what you are doing the testing. What is the meaning of success? What is the meaning of failure? Currently, you have written only partial code. So try to test whether that code is working. Once that is fine, then you will write the next code and then incrementally you build the system. Generally, students make this mistake. They want to build the entire perfect system in the first attempt and then test it. Wrong approach. Industry mein, people don't work like that. We incrementally build the software. So guys, the point to be understood here is, don't write it, just understand. Be aware of what you are testing, what is done, and what is definition of success or failure. Don't try to build perfect, fully working system in first attempt. It is waste of time. Nobody in industry does that. So you have to change the way you are thinking now. So now you can see when the backend application is down and you try to connect, you're not getting anything. But when the application is up, we got something. What does this mean? This itself is a proof that we were able to successfully connect to something on 8080 in my machine using HTTP protocol. Okay, so let's bring the application back up. So we go here, right click, run as, build clean spring -boot : run, and then run it. Okay, what is our checklist? Everything is saved. There is no compilation errors. There is no service startup problems. Tomcat is up properly. Option to terminate is there. Once everything is sorted, now we go to the browser and then we try to launch. It is connecting. We are getting at least some page. So we should be thankful, okay, we have accomplished it. We are able to successfully connect to some Tomcat server, which is actually operating and serving HTTP port in our laptop. That is what this is. We created a Tomcat, and inside that our Spring application is running, and it is occupying 8081. And by using this URL, we are able to connect to it. So from browser, this is able to connect here. Fine. After connecting to Tomcat, so guys, anywhere if there is a problem, just imagine Tomcat is not serving a web project in case. It is not offering HTTP, HTTPS. Automatically, this connection will fail. Next, if you are not running Tomcat in the local machine, it is running on some other IP. and here you use localhost, it is going to be a problem. So if Tomcat is running in some other IP, you need to take that IP, then you need to pass it here. Next, if instead of 80, you're running your application on some other port, you have to use that. Means there is a full chance of error. Anything can go wrong. Syntax can go wrong, protocol can go wrong, server location can go wrong, port can go wrong. Anywhere anything is wrong, you will not be able to connect here. And that is where you should feel proud about it, that we have connected to a Tomcat successfully by properly deciding all the factors. Okay? So guys, everyone, please write down this URL into your laptop. In your notepad, please write down this URL. And let's write down the English meaning of this URL. It means in my, so you should also say my. So in my local machine, there is some service running on port 8080, which serves HTTP protocol. That is the English meaning of this statement. So you're trying to talk in the English language to the software, right? And now if the software, if you don't run it on this port, you're not running it in your local, you're not using your proper protocol, you're gone with the syntax wrong, basically you will not be able to connect to your destination. So please understand what you do and what exactly it is. Okay, chalo guys. Once you're done, please give a quick confirmation, then we will move to the next point, everyone. Write down this one-liner, it is important. You need to know what you're doing. No need to mug up. Try to understand where is the server, what is the port. Let's connect. You make some mistake there, you are not going to connect, right? Let's say I want to come to your house, and on your phone you are saying, okay, take the 4th left, but your house is on the 3rd left. I will not reach your house. So if you use a wrong port, wrong IP, you are going somewhere else. So you need to be very clear. This is direction basically. Okay, nice. Let's move to the next point. So this is how you connect. Now, okay, we will do some experiment. We want to write the add method also today. We want to make this functional also, so we don't see that error message. So one by one we will do. Okay, guys, our next experiment is going to be what? Thank you for the confirmations, guys, everyone. Chalo, let's go to the next experiment. Topic by topic, we will keep going deeper. Okay, by the end of today's session, you will be like amazed. Wow, so many things I learned within one full pack session itself. So let's go one level deeper. Everyone, please focus. We will try to change the port to 8081. Simple. Let's take this as a simple requirement. We want to change the port. How do you change the port? Again, if you're not aware of this, you have to go to internet, you need to ask ChatGPT, and you will get the way to do that. So please don't take these sessions as the end all be all. These sessions should be your mind opening sessions. Dekho guys, as a mentor, my job is not to solve your problem. My job is to make you capable so that you can solve your problem. Because you are going to live with yourself throughout your life. So if you become capable to deal with your life problems, automatically you will be successful. And that is what is true mentorship. So whatever your work should be, open up your mind, open up your thinking, and then use the internet, use your smartness, use your intelligence, use these sessions, use these notes, make your own decisions, be a researcher, find, troubleshoot, and fix your problems, because that's where your future will be great. Remember that point. So I'm not going to spoon feed things, because that's not going to help you at all. What will help you? When you become capable to solve your own problems. So let's build for that. Keep that goal in mind. Keep that goal in mind. No spoon feeding. I don't treat you like children, students. No, you are professionals who are supposed to deal and fix your own problems. This is what happens in company. When interns come, when freshers come in my team, we don't spoon feed them. We give them requirement and guidance, and they have to do that. If they are not able to do, we are like, come on, we hired you, That's your job. You need to do that. And then you have to push yourself. Spend more time to learn quickly. That's what is the industry expectation. And that's what you should behave as well. Okay, fine. Let's move forward. So we want to change the port. Just a thought is enough. Now you should go to internet, figure out how to do it, make it work. Okay, how part, use internet and get it done. And in the times of AI, if you're saying, I don't know, it shows lack of your skills. Your exploration skills are really bad. You have to work with AI, and at least these are very simple, straightforward, proven things. Break it down, understand the problem, work with AI, break it down, experiment with it, grow logically. Very important, guys. Grow logically. It's very important for you. If you are waiting on mug-ups, memorizing things, not understanding, just coding whatever nonsense, it's not going to help you. Smartness is required, logic is required. Remember that, please. Now, let's go further. Let's go further. Simple thing, we want to change the port to 8081. You go to internet, figure out, and then apply that. Okay, now let me already apply this into your project. So what you will do? Let's imagine, even I don't know what to do. What I will go to internet and I will say, give the context properly. I want to start my Spring Boot application, Spring Boot web application on 8081 port. Give me the code, take the requirement, put it on internet, you will get it. It is simply saying, in your property file, put it like this. If you have a YAML file, put it like this. Okay, you don't want to go to ChatGPT, you simply put it straightforward into Google. And Google is searching the information and giving it to you straight away. And now you can do it. Property file, YAML file, and that's it. So multiple ways. While command prompt also you can do, at runtime you can pass in. So there are n number of ways. So you have to choose whichever you want to apply. But I'm telling, you're just one step away from the answer. Start thinking like that. Start using internet and the AI. Your life will change pretty quickly. So that's it. You just have to add this kind of a configuration. Now, the thing is, we will go into our project and open up the property file. And here we want to add it because that's what internet is saying. Add this kind of configuration here. But now let's look at this twist. I will not add that configuration. I will rather put a comment here saying, okay, server port 8081. This is English. Anybody can do it. Give it like that. And I'm just giving a tab. What happened? This is code completion feature of AI. You don't have to now remember things. You don't have to really type things. AI is going to do that for you. In my IDE, I have GitHub Copilot agent. It is a coding agent with proper commenting. This is inline coding is happening here. This is code completion which is happening. You give some comments. Accordingly, the code is going to be generated. So I have applied this GitHub Copilot as a configuration into my IDE. And please be aware, in the current times, every developer in the company is using certain kind of AI agents, coding assistants for building the application. Okay, maybe not every, maybe 70%, 80%, but majority is adapting. More people are further coming to start using it. But please be aware, future is using the AI coding tools. Okay, for coding, you will not do it manually. Then how will you do it? You will use AI coding tools, which is nothing but simple, this GitHub Copilot. Many companies are using GitHub Copilot. They have taken the account and access to all the members. They are using GitHub Copilot. Some of the companies using Cursor. Again, AI-based, AI first IDE. Cursor is what? It is a AI first IDE. Means it is designed for AI activities. Using that, you can do coding. So some companies are using that. Companies are using Claude Code. Companies are using Codex. All these are multiple AI coding tools or AI coding assistants. People use multiple terminologies for this. AI coding assistants. Or what? AI coding agents. Interchangeably, people will use all that. And these are some of the tools which are helping. Google has given another IDE, anti-gravity. Next, in your VS Code, you can plug in these kind of things and work with this. So yes, definitely some support of this should be available. Now guys, even if you are at a fresher level, they are, okay, at least this GitHub Copilot and even Cursor and all, they are providing some free tier as well. Maybe some limited usage will be there about that, but you can take that and experiment with these kind of things. Okay, so you can simply first, yes, you have to now set up GitHub Copilot into your IDE. Now, whichever IDE you guys are using, there set up GitHub Copilot, and GitHub Copilot is having the support for all the popular IDEs which are available. Or if you don't want to use GitHub Copilot, figure out some other support and use some coding agent with you, at least for basic experimenting purpose, because that is what is the must-have thing. And in your resume, it should be must-have added. Okay, how do you work with GitHub Copilot? Okay, how this setup is done, first of all, in my ID and all. So guys, there are two things here. First, you need to go to GitHub and create your account with these guys for GitHub Copilot. Okay, so github.com Copilot plans, and then free tier, you can just click on get started and you can get started with that. So whatever it is, login, setup, and just activate this one. So for initial testing and all, this is okay. Now the next thing is explore. Somewhere they have some links for students. If you are from a recognized university and all, so for students, they have some other package also. So try to explore that option if you can take the benefit of that. And so that is going to be your first thing. So you need to go to this link, do this setup so that you have your free tier account created with these guys. Okay, that is going to be your first step. Next, create account. Once you have this, step number 2, IDE setup needed. And I guess if you go here, GitHub Copilot support is provided for all of these IDEs. Okay, all of these IDEs. So VS Code support is there. Okay, VS Code and Visual Studio, Xcode, in JetBeans. So even IntelliJ and all will be coming. Eclipse. So yes, all the popular IDEs which people use is having the support, so you can get it available. Okay. Now, how you can have this support with you? You can simply go to your IDE and look for help Eclipse marketplace. At least for Eclipse, we are seeing. For all the other things, go to internet, search, and do the required setup. So Eclipse marketplace. Okay. And search for, it's already installed in my laptop. Search for this. Simple. GitHub Copilot. Search for GitHub Copilot and it will give you some option to install. Just click install, continue with whatever process is happening, next, finish, whatever approvals required. Maybe the ID needs to, you have to shut it off, restart it once again. So that all thing will happen. And okay, that will be your step number 2. So what is the step number 1? You do the setup here. So you need to do setting up GitHub Copilot in your IDE. So step number 1, you create this. Step number 2, IDE setup needed, which will be 2.1 from Eclipse Marketplace. You need to add the changes. After that, you will be, okay, once that is done, you will get this kind of an option here. So you need to log in also. Just like any other application, sign out option is there, and then sign in option will be available. Once you click the sign in, it will redirect you to the browser where you are already logged in into your Copilot account. So it will automatically get the approval, and with your account, this IDE is going to be linked as well. Okay? So that is what it is, and it should show this kind of a green tick, means it is available. So that is going to be your second step. So 2.2, login to your GitHub Copilot. Now, please be aware, GitHub Copilot, very beginning, these guys really gave a lot of AI-based features and this inline auto suggestions. So they really came first, but later on, these tools became really much more powerful. So industry is now having this adopted also very widely. However, this is also there. Many companies are giving account access about Copilot as well. So it completely depends, but everyone is like super powerful, can get the work done. Okay. Now, guys, you have to do the setup. Are we clear with this, team? Please quickly confirm. Team, are we clear? Please quickly confirm. So now then you can do coding and it will give you suggestions there. In fact, the add method that we are going to write is going to be using this AI coding agent itself, because we don't know what is a REST API. We don't even know how to write it. We will use AI agent to write it for us. Next week, we will understand deeper and then we will do it manually also, but that's what it is. Okay, let's go forward. What more things you need to be aware about this GitHub Copilot? Okay, so guys, everyone, focus. These are important discussions, especially in the current times. So this is one way of coding. Okay, so this is one way of coding where you give some comments and your code will be generated. Or when you're doing some typing, GitHub Copilot is going to give the code to you. But again, these things is now to some extent practice, but more of the work is now happening using the agents which is provided by GitHub Copilot. How exactly you can do that? Simply, once you have the Copilot installed, you will have this option, open chat. Okay, so just go for this open chat option and you will get this kind of a chat window with you. Okay, now this is the agent mode. So this chat window is the agent mode chat window. Means you can write your code. You can just, the way you chat with ChatGPT, write that, you chat here, and it is directly going to work with your entire code base. For example, I can simply say, okay, which port this Spring Boot app runs on. Okay, it's going through the process, and now it is saying, hey, this app runs on port 8081. Okay, now we can say, now we don't even have to know the syntaxes and other things. You chat and your work will get done. For example, you can simply tell to this guy, okay, change the port to 8082. Now, English conversation and communication. So, GitHub Copilot. Now, this is what is agent mode. Just see, it simply modified it to 8082. Fine, it has modified it, but it gives you the comparison also. You can double click here, and now you can see how the code is modified. Earlier, it was 8081. Now it is giving 8082. So you can just chat and get the things done for you. Okay, this is how we can just chat and get the work done. And currently, majority of the developers are using the agent mode itself. And slowly and steadily, people are spending less time in the central coding panel. Okay, they are spending really very less time in the central coding panel, and now they are doing a lot via this way itself. And what is this agent mode? You have to understand few things about this. Agent mode, basically, they created multiple agents: ask agent, regular coding agent, planning agent. These are multiple agents. If you go for this agent, look at this, it is having some tool setup. Okay, so this is what? Configure tool. So built-in tools for this agent available here. Notice. So generally what happens is, agent means they have access to your code base. So that access is provided here. Access is provided here. It can read our files. It can run the terminals. It can get some errors. So this kind of tool access is provided. So you have to be aware that there are multiple agents provided, and they are provided with certain access so that they can operate and they can modify our code base. Okay, that is one thing you should be aware. So let me just keep writing these important things. So using inline code suggestions is one way, but now not widely used. Okay, majority of developers are switching to using the agent mode for development. What is agent mode? You just chat and get the work done. You just chat and get the work done. You don't really have to do, and automatically what is happening? Devs are spending less time in central coding section and more time with this chat panel. So they just review the stuff and they just collaborate here, and then they just decide, okay, do you want to then keep this? And then they will say, yes, I want to keep this. And then that change is reflected. So that is what is happening. Okay, fine. Next, what more we discussed? With GitHub Copilot, they are providing some built-in agents. Nothing but regular ask mode, you can ask any question. Agent mode, which can really edit your system and code. And then there is plan mode, you can use it for some initial plan. You want to start a new feature, you go to the plan mode and start discussing, okay, planning of how to develop, for planning your work before making changes. So this is how three kind of modes are available, which you should be aware. What is the another thing? In IDE level, you can configure tool support for these agents. Okay, you can do this tool support. So let's write down that also. Tool support to be provided to your agents. By default, they have done it. If you want to add turn on, turn off, you can do all of that. Okay, fine. What is the next thing you have to understand? This is a complete exploration in itself. Okay, so you have some MCP configurations. You can set up another MCP servers also here. Next, you can do some custom instructions if you want, where you can customize the behavior of these agents. Lot of things can happen. Okay, so please be aware, sub agents related setup could be there, skills you can add. So this field is also growing like anything. You can add your custom agents, you can create your custom agents. And then let's see general settings. Okay, model management, which models? So please be aware, these agents will use LLM models behind the screen. Okay, so you can configure which kind of models you want to add as part of this entire stuff. Azure related models, or OpenAI related, or Anthropic related, or Gemini related, Grok related. You can decide which models you want. If you need something else, you can additionally add the model also. Based upon these things, you will get this model panel for yourself. Different models are supported. Okay, with managed model, you can turn it on off. Depending upon which model you are doing, your pricing is going to be decided. If you use a smaller model, you will be charged less. You use heavy model, so generally a monthly quota will be there of how much you can really use these tools. If you are trying to exhaust it, maybe in one day you will just finish it. Remaining 29 days, you have to manually do the coding. So in companies, please understand, current situation is there is a limit on how much of these tool usage can happen. Infinite support is not provided. Okay, so some companies, I'm telling you, has given full access. They are not restricting. They are like fully use it. So for those companies, then they are not having limitations. So you can use these models. Some companies, what they are doing, the frontier models, which are the top models, GPT-5 Soul, Opus 5s, and Fables, on all these top related models, Kimi K3. So that is recently up. But all these frontier models, which are really expensive, they put a limit on that. But if you go to the smaller models, you still can access them as well. For example, Claude, Anthropic company Claude, Haiku, or a Sonnet, these are smaller models. You can still use it. So different companies are following different strategies. There is no one standard way. But currently you have to understand, industry is still juggling with this. How much of the coding should happen using these agents? How much good quality code is happening? How much code should we review versus how much code we should take it to production without a review also? All these things are open-ended things. And some companies are giving a monthly limit on how much people, like tokens, can be used, and you can finish it maybe in 1 week. Rest of the time you have to manually do the coding. Or that's what industry is going through. A lot of uncertainties. There is no standard way. Let's see how the next 6 months or 1 year goes. Accordingly, we can decide whether you really need to know the central coding panel at all, because there are concepts happening in the industry, building software factories where you will use these agents and they will do the entire coding. And even for the code review, you will create another agent which will do that. Developers will only review critical things. So industry working can really change in the next 6 months to 1 year to a couple of years. We don't know how quickly or late it is going to happen. But at least as of August 2026, you need to learn the central coding work also. Plus, you need to learn this agent-related coding work as well. Because yes, there are limits. Yes, people have to now balance this also, that also. And you don't really have to learn everything like syntactically, because now that is gone. You can just go to internet and use AI versions and get your answers quickly. So the way you are supposed to code is changing. Please note, coding is being replaced by code generation. Okay, and that is already happening. This is not something experimental. This is proven, and it is already happening in industries, and it will happen even more faster. Let's see how the next couple of years go through. Then we will know where the industry shapes up. Okay, fine, guys. Are we clear with all this? This awareness is required as part of being a Java developer. Are we clear with all these things? Please confirm. So this GitHub Copilot is a software which uses some LLM, and then it studies your code and then modifies in your code. That is what it is. And today you are supposed to do the setup of this one. Guys, are we clear with this? Okay. Chalo, multiple members confirming. Very good. Let's move forward. Good, guys. Thank you for the confirmations. Let's move forward. So we have made the changes to 8080. Please note, currently our situation is something like this. Every time we make the change, we have to restart our application. So we will do some changes so that we don't have to do this. But at least the current situation says we modified it to 8082. So we need to stop this and then restart. Okay. Now let's look at the second way of restarting the application. So one, we know, clean spring-boot :run. Second thing is you can simply do right click, run as Spring Boot app. So this is some built-in behavior provided. You can simply click this Spring Boot app and it is going to start your application. Notice. Okay. Started on this one. So please be aware of this. So that is the second option. So what are the factors? Currently, when we change code, we need to restart. So we changed it to 8082 and then we stopped it. And now we understood another way also, run as Spring Boot app. Okay. So this is what we have applied. And now let's notice server port is 8082. It is started on 8082. So we can go back to the browser and then come to this link 8080. Basically, nothing is running there. Now our server is starting on a different port 8082 and let's try to launch that one. So yes, we are able to change the port and we are getting some behavior there. Okay, fine. So just with the simple experiment of port changing, we got to learn about this. Today you are supposed to do the setup of this one. Okay. Let's make some notes about this and then we will go to the next point. Okay, guys, let's make a quick note about this. Currently, industry is using AI coding agents or tools or assistants for day-to-day coding. Okay. Several projects have limits on how much you can use these tools on monthly basis. Some of the teams are doing like this, okay, only seniors are getting the access, juniors don't even have the access. So different. Currently, it's pretty much mixed. Several projects have limit how much you can use. So currently, both manual coding and coding using agent, okay, we need to understand both. Okay. As future grows, we need to check how to adapt to changing situations. So this is what it is. So for that, we have to definitely understand it. Next, just write down GitHub, Copilot, next cursor, next codex, Claude Code, anti-gravity. These are some of the coding tools. Okay. Next, these coding tools use LLMs. Primarily, 3 companies, LLMs are really popular: OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google Gemini. But generally for coding, people will choose from this one. Some open source LLMs are also there, like Quen is again good one for coding purpose. It's open source. You can just take it and use that one. So your pricing and all will be different. Quality might be here and there, but still, okay, there are some other open options also, which can be used for your coding purpose. So these coding tools use LLM. Next, coding agents will have tools to access your file system and make modifications. Okay. you are supposed to review and accept or reject the changes. So at least basic these things, please be aware. Okay, guys, once you're done, please confirm, then we will move to the next point. Okay, team, once you're done with this, please quickly confirm. Then we will go to the next point. Okay, some of the guys have completed, very good. Others also, please quickly confirm. Okay, some more are also doing it. Nice, multiple members done. Awesome. Let's go further, team. Now our aim is, okay guys, thank you for the confirmations. We can move to the next point. In our first project, what we are saying, we will build a simple add method and return the sum. It's a simple experiment. Okay. Now just imagine here, we need to understand few concepts. So everyone, please focus. We are building this kind of an application, Spring Boot application, where using core Java, we know how to write an add logic. And we are going to simply return that, whatever it is. Okay, return A plus B or whatever it is. Okay. Now, these other guys are supposed to call it, let's say from browser or whatever other software. Few things we have to understand. The first thing is the concept of APIs. The concept of APIs. In the software related world, just understand these. These are simple, very clear-cut definitions. In the software related world, two parts of software want to communicate with each other. They use APIs, application programming interface. So now we are saying this browser is one of the software. Okay, so this browser is one of the software, and this Spring Boot application which you are developing is another software. So when two softwares want to communicate with each other, they will do it using concept of APIs. Now it could be something like this. Internally in your project, you have something like a.java and you have something like b.java. And b.java is having some method which needs to be accessed via this another method here. So technically speaking, these are also two different parts of the software. We can still even call this also as API. There are further more things. When you're running your application, you might like to perform some operation onto your operating system. So OS level APIs will also be there. OS level APIs, where you can use these APIs to talk to the operating system. Some other libraries you are using, so library API can also be there. So guys, please be aware, API is a generic concept. Two parts of the software wants to talk to each other. We say it is an API. Communication will happen via API, application programming interface. Okay. Now, second point is important. When this communication happens over web, we call it as web API. Web means what, guys? protocol of communication should be HTTP or HTTPS. When this kind of communication is happening, means the two parts of the software are running at different places and across the web, they are interacting with one another, then we say web API. So API is generic. Two parts of the software talking to each other, API. What is web API? When they communicate, when two parts of software communicate on web protocol, which is nothing but HTTP or HTTPS, then we say it is web API. Okay, now how do you develop web API? How to develop web API? There are multiple ways to develop web API, guys. There are some standards given by REST. So REST are some set of standards or guidelines or rules. If you follow REST standards, okay, if you follow REST standards for developing APIs, then we say you are developing REST APIs. Then you are developing REST APIs. Or people also say you're developing RESTful APIs. All these are multiple terms. Sometimes people even use the term called as RESTful web services. Again, web APIs, they can alias it saying it's web services. Okay? So web services is nothing but you can even alias it to web APIs. And how do you develop web APIs? If you are following REST standard, it is one of the way to develop it. There is another thing called as a SOAP protocol, which is a different style of building the APIs so that across web you can communicate. There are many more things like gRPC, okay, and other protocols of communication are also there. So just be aware. In order to build web API, multiple strategies are possible when you follow, and the common and the popular one in the industry is REST related standards. When you follow the REST standards to build the API, we say you are building REST APIs. So everybody should be clear with this terminology. These are basic things. In interview, these could be discussed. So what is a API? Two parts of the software will communicate with each other. What is a web API? When the communication is happening over web protocol, HTTP, HTTPS. Next, how do you develop it? Multiple ways are there. REST is one of a common and a popular way. REST is set of rules, guidelines, standards. If you principles, whatever you call it, if you follow those principles, constraints, rules, guidelines, if you follow those principles for building your REST API, for building your APIs, we basically say it is REST API. Okay, everybody, please open up your notepad and write down what is an API, what is a web API, and what is a REST API. Write down one-liner about all. I will start a 2 minutes timer in my local laptop, in my phone. Everybody, please write down what are the terms in one-liner. If you want to explain, how will you explain these things? What is an API? What is a web API? What is a REST API? And once you're done, you can give a quick confirmation. And then we will go to the next point. Still, there are topics to be covered today, guys. Be focused. Okay, guys, 18 seconds to go. Are you done? Did you write one-liner about this? Please quickly confirm. APIs, web APIs, REST APIs. Time is up. So team, all the members who did it, please quickly confirm. Then we will move to the next point. So these are some guidelines, rules, constants. Okay. Some of the guys are done. Others also, please finish it. Please confirm quickly. Okay. Multiple members are done. Awesome. So where does this concept come into our picture? Point is, we will write the business functionality as add, but if we want that outside people should access, then we need to write it as a web API. Then only outside people can access. But for building web API, we have to decide how do we want to build it. So we need to write it as a REST API. So that means you have your functionality, that is good, but you need to do additional coding of REST API so that these outer people can access. So now there is this separate and this separate. Okay, so let me write it down. Currently, we have, let's say, some business functionality, which is nothing but your add. However, if we want outside people to access this functionality over web, so we need to develop web API. And particularly, we will be developing REST API because REST is a very popular standard and mass adopted standard, commonly used. REST APIs, it's a very common practice. In fact, PayPal APIs are REST APIs only. So we will discuss that on Friday session. PayPal APIs, what we want to integrate, they are also REST APIs itself. So you'll get some fair bit of idea. But yeah, so the point is, we need to code REST APIs into our Spring Boot application. Okay, that's the conclusion. Now, moving to the next point. Currently, we did not do any code here. Okay, it's very basic, just basic application. Let's do one activity, guys. Before making any changes here, how about we save whatever we have done? Just observe, you will enjoy the process. So I'm going here to source tree. Whatever changes we have done so far, okay, whatever changes. Yesterday we said, first we can save this into our local machine. Git related process. Try to recollect. Currently the changes are into local. You want to put this into remote. What is the process for that? You need to do git add, git commit. These two things will save it into local only. But if my laptop is crashed, we lose everything. So then we have to do git push. By that way, it goes to the cloud. Git push. So whatever we have done the changes so far, we have to properly save it, get it into cloud, so we are not dependent on that laptop. So then we will say, first is what? Git add. So you can just keep adding using this plus symbol, git add. And then it will move from this place to this place. So you can either do it like this, or you can say stage all, and everything will move into this. And just see, plus means they are all new files. This orange and a pencil symbol means it is edited. Some modifications has happened here. Okay, and these are all new files. So that is git add operation. Step number 2, we need to do git commit. For doing the git commit, you need to give a message. Okay, what is changed? We can say initial version of code from start.spring.io, and we change the port to 8082. So you need to give a proper message about whatever you are doing, and then click on this commit word. So you have to give a message and then you click on the commit. So it is going to be these two steps. What these two will do? These two only saves it into local repository only. It will not go to the cloud. To go to the cloud, you need to do push. How do you do the push? Just click on this push button. Changes will go, okay, from your local to the remote. Yes, we want to push. Just get it pushed. Continue with the default options and just continue to pushing. With this, what will happen? Your changes will be available into the remote location. Now, if you go to the browser and verify, you will be having the code. And now you look at this file status. There is nothing. So everything is properly saved. What is the advantage of this? What is the advantage of Git here? So much of advantages, guys. Let's say you go here by mistake, you delete this. Application.properties, you deleted. Okay, gone. Generally, as a developer or as a student, you feel like if something goes wrong into the code by mistake, finding it might become hard. But with Git, you don't have to worry. I deleted a file and I'm not worried at all. Okay, what was the code in that? Why? Because I know that there is Git which is active on my system and it is tracking my changes. It is showing me here, okay, hey, you have deleted this file. This minus and red means, hey, you have deleted the file. What do you want to do? Do you want to really delete it into even the cloud location? Or was this a mistake? You have that kind of choice. So now I will have to decide, okay, right click. Do I really want to delete it or it was just a mistake? And if it is a mistake, I will simply say, discard my file change. So as a developer, if your code is backed behind a Git, you are basically worryless. No tension at all. Whatever you do, you can go and you can change, you can do whatever. So we will say discard file changes. And yes, do you want to discard it? Yes. So this will go away. And then you come back here and then you try to do a refresh, right click, and then we do refresh and just see the file is back again. That is the reason we always work with a version control tool like Git, because it is very powerful and helpful here. Okay? So guys, everyone in your notepad, please write down this one point. Whatever we added in current code, commit and push to cloud Bitbucket. That is going to be our first thing. And also understand the importance of having code in Git. Okay, you can review your changes, then decide whether to commit it or revert it. Okay, as accidental mistakes will not happen. Even if you delete by mistake, you can review it and you can fix it. Accidental mistakes can be fixed without issue. Okay, chalo guys, please write this important line. Okay, let's move to the next point. Now, let's move to the next point, guys. So current conclusion is we need to write a REST API. Okay, fine. Which we will call from browser. Pass to integer values. And in response, we need to get the result. Okay, that is our expectation. Now, we need to understand another concept. How to do coding in our service in this Spring Boot project. There is a standard here called as layered application. You do coding using layered application approach. Nothing but, everybody please understand these concepts. The entire Spring Boot project that you will have, you will now split it into multiple layers. Controller layer, service layer, repository layer. These are the three primary layers. Controller layer, service layer, repository layer. Means entire project code that you do will be split into three layers. Service layer is going to have your business logic. Repository layer is going to have all your DB logic. You want to do CRUD operations with the database, everything goes in repository layer. You need to write some business logic, you will write it in service layer. What is for controller? Okay, all requests coming from outside will come to controller. Nothing but your REST API coding will happen here in controller, REST API coding. So controller is going to be the entry for the outer world, and then controller is going to pass this request to the service. Service is going to run the business logic. If you want to work with the database, service layer is going to talk to the repository layer. This repository layer is going to do actions with the database that you are having. Repository layer will work with the DB, get the reply, give it back to the service layer. This guy will do the processing and then give it back to the controller, and controller will give it back to whoever is calling it. Okay, so whoever is the external user. Take a minute to understand this flow. REST API we understood. Web related concepts, REST are the guidelines, and we follow that and we can build REST API. So that is required. But where do you build it? In the controller layer. So for that, we have to understand, when you build any project, you need to build it in multiple layers. The standard 3 layers for the project is controller layer, service layer, repository layer. Repository layer sometimes also called as DAO layer. Okay, so both terms are there. Now, controller is where entry level, all outside requests will come into controller. We need to do REST API coding in controller. Service layer is where your business logic is. Repository is where you will actually have your database related code. The flow happens. Outside people will call your service. It will come to the controller. You will further call the service layer. It will execute the logic. If DB actions are there, goes here. This guy works with the DB, gives the responses back to service. Decision making can happen here. Gives the final response back to controller. Controller gives it back. So guys, this is what is layered architecture. Layered architecture. Okay, team, are you clear with this layered architecture concept? Please quickly confirm. Are you clear with this layered architecture concept, team? We will take notes about this. This is important concept. REST API, important concept. Layered architecture, important concept. In interview, these are basics. People will definitely touch all the beginners onto these initial areas. Okay, some of the guys are confirming. Very good. Let's write it. Everybody. Good. It's been already like what? 3 hours will approach in 20 minutes, but you guys are nicely focused. Let's go, everyone. So write down the topic, layered application. Write down the topic, team, layered application, and write it down. When you build your backend application, we develop it as layers. Next, the primary layers are controller, service, repository. Write it down, guys. These are important things. Controller layer means what? Entry. All external softwares reach to your project using controller. Okay. Next, REST API coding will happen in controller. That is how controller will be. What is service? Business logic will be written in service layer. Okay. Business logic is written in service layer. What is repository layer? DB logic, nothing but performing CRUD operations, will be in this layer. How the flow is going to be? Flow of request. First, let's take one example. Browser calls. Browser calls. Next, Tomcat is going to receive the request first. Next, it is going to give it to our Spring Boot code. Next, it is going to pass it to the controller. Next, it is going to give it to our service. Next, it is going to give it to our repository. Next, reverse response is going to happen. Reverse journey. These are important things. These are basic foundational concepts. Flow of the request. Write down the flow of the request. Browser calls. First request will come to Tomcat. Then request will come to your Spring Framework code. Then request is going to come to your controller. Then service. Then repository. And then reverse journey. This is a standard flow of how it happens. Okay. Next, write down one more thing. We develop, how to technically develop these layers? We develop these layers using Java packages. Right, in core Java, you have learned how to create packages, sub-packages. Using that, we are going to create layers. Okay, what does that mean? If you have a base package, you want to write controller, what you will do? You will do base package dot controller, and inside here you will write your controller. Let's say my controller or XYZ controller dot Java. You will write it here. This is how you develop controller layer. So it's not something like how to do. It's very simple. Packages needs to be created. You want to build a service. Okay, you will take the base package and then put something like dot service. And inside that, you will write your service classes. Let's say my service.java. And then accordingly, you will have further the rest of the work. Let's say repository. And then you will do dot repository. And then you will have the repository related things. So that is what it is. You just mentioned this one thing. We develop these layers using Java packages. That's it. No need to take this example. If you want, anyways, notes are going to be available with you, but write down till this statement. Flow of the request, one-liner clarity about this, and then we develop these using Java packages. Once you're done with this, please quickly confirm, then we will move to the next point. Once you have written it in this point, please confirm, then we will move to the next point. Okay, good, good, good. Now, there are few standards of how to work with these layers. Let's try to understand at least some basic standards. One layer, okay, chalo, multiple members confirming, nice. Let's go to the next point, guys. One layer talks to the another layer using interfaces. That's a common discipline in the project. Sometimes you will see some of the time people are not doing it, but it is recommended that layers should communicate using interfaces. Okay, so try to follow that discipline. What does that mean? You are building your system. You have written your controller, my controller. You want to call your service, my service. One way is what? You will simply use my service, and then you will have your object. Somehow you will get this object and then do object dot whatever method it is, right? This is how you do. So if you are directly getting this object of my service and calling it, you go here and accordingly you are getting the response. It is one way of doing it. But a recommended approach is when one layer is trying to talk to the another layer, do it via interface. Means you can simply have this my service not as a direct class, but as a child class for some interface, my service interface. And this class is going to implement that, override the method. And in the controller, you will use this interface reference, not the child class reference. Okay, your entire object related polymorphism and all that thing is going to come here. You will use the parent type here, and using the parent type, the reference of that is going to be of child only, right? Your core Java related discussions, guys. The type is of parent, but the object is going to be of this one, and then accordingly you will be calling the method, okay, and getting the response. So please be aware, this is what it means. One layer talks to the another layer using interface. It simply means you need to define the interface type. Don't use my service IMPL object for calling this. You should not do that. If you write directly my service IMPL and start coding based upon that, no, that is not recommended. Okay, let's say object ref, and if you do this object ref dot my method, so no, that is not recommended. You should not do it like that. There are reasons. In future sessions we can discuss those reasons, but for now just be aware, this is wrong. Don't really try to talk based upon services. Okay, POC projects and all, you might do it, but if you are going to production, follow this discipline. You need to use the parent reference here. Okay, parent type here, and then the object of the child is going to come, and then you can call it. Okay, so please be aware of this. So this is the right way of doing it. This is the interface type. Okay, so my service is interface type, not child class type. But yes, because of your Java related behaviors, the child object can be held in this interface, and then you can call the method. There are reasons for that. We will discuss it some other day. But yeah, so please be aware of this rule when it comes to layered application. Similarly, service layer trying to talk to repository, again via interface. Within service layer, if you have 2-3 classes, their interface required? No, not required. You can directly talk to each other. If you have another service here, my service 2, my service 2 class, you can directly talk there, not a problem. But generally at these layers, when controller is trying to talk, there you try to do it via interface. This guy trying to talk to repository, there you do it via interface. So guys, please write down this one-liner note into your notepad. Okay, it's recommended that one layer talks to another using interface. One layer talks to another using interface. Within the same layer, direct communication can happen. Within the same layer, direct communication can happen. Okay, for example, write it down, guys. Controller uses service interface reference, service interface type, while making call to service layer. Not directly uses the child class object reference. Important. Not directly uses the child class object reference. This is important. Please write down these two things. So we are understanding the concept. We are even understanding how to technically accomplish it. So controller uses the service interface type while making the call to the service layer, not directly using the child class object type, not directly using child class type. Okay. Reference will be of the child only, but the type is going to be of parent. Again, core Java knowledge is required. That's what it's very important. Okay, team, let's move to the next one. Now we understood what needs to be done. We need to write a REST API. We need to write a service layer. Addition should happen in the service layer. REST API should be written in a controller. So we are clear what needs to be done. And simple, 2 integer values should come. Return is going to be just the sum of that. Okay, let's use GitHub Copilot and build this system. We don't know how to write a REST API. We don't know how to do all of these things. We will just chat and get the work done. In future sessions, we will understand, we will do all of these things, REST API development very properly, understanding every single annotation, service layer, business logic is going to be as per the project requirements. So everything will be done properly. But for today, week 1, let's use AI to really build this simple addition behavior. So guys, everyone, please focus here. What we will do? This code is there. We will be simply asking AI to do some work for us. Generally, whenever you're starting new set of work, you can start in a different session. You can just simply click a new chat and here you can start doing the communication. So what we will do? We will say, create a math service interface and let's say dot service dot interfaces dot math service interface and dot service dot impl dot math service impl. Include method, let's say int add, which takes int val1 comma int val2. Okay, and in logic do addition of 2 numbers and return the sum. Now this is simple requirement. Anybody can think, anybody can write. If you know what you want to do, you can accordingly say. I just gave some packages. Where do I want this thing to happen? And that's it. What method signature I need? and what logic I need. So just giving it to coding agent, and let's give it some time so that it can process, understand what we want to do, read our project structure, okay, where exactly the code is, and then it will do. Okay. It started creating few things. Okay. Just see, multiple packages are appearing here. Math service, if we click here, interface is ready with some descriptions, having add method as per what we said. Val1, val2 return is going to be like this. This is the interface created. Next, implementation child class of this. Okay, so class which implements this one and overrides that method. Simple addition logic, this plus this, and returning. It used some kind of additional annotations, and that is where it is Spring related power. We will understand that later, but just try to notice, just by chatting, we are getting what we want. And then we will say, okay, so this is sounding good. We say, keep this code. Okay. So first part is done. We have used a layered application approach, built a service layer, wrote our logic, and exposed it via interface. Now we need to write the REST API. And that is going to be inside controller. So let's try to give that requirement to this guy. Okay, so now we will say, create a REST API with maybe dot controller dot math controller. Okay, which adds two numbers. Okay, use the service interface to invoke the business method and return the value. I will call this REST API from browser. Okay, give me way to call it. Simple. If the need is clear, you can speak accordingly with these chat agents, and they can just work on your code base. And that is what we said in the beginning. Okay, people are spending less time in this, more time here. This is what it is. They are guiding and directing the agents to build the system, just reviewing it, and that's how it is. So let's try to see what this guy completes. So create a REST API. We gave the name, and we want to add two numbers. Use the service interface to invoke the business method and return the value. And we want to call it from browser. Give me a way to call it. Okay. Let's see what happens. Implementing math controller, it came up with some list of items. And this is what is called as reasoning block of AI agents. When we tell them something, they reason about it. Step by step, they break down how exactly we are supposed to do. And then they come up with a plan for that. And then they start executing that kind of a plan. And notice, while it is executing, it has created a math controller. Right? It has created a math controller. Some kind of code here. We don't even know what is a REST controller, what is this auto wiring happening, what is this constructor and this value. We don't know all that. But we asked it to do, maybe it will work. And then it is like, okay, so it created something, it wrote the method, but at least we know core Java, so we can make some sense. Here somehow it is taking the reference and it is calling the service method, passing the val1 and val2 there, and maybe getting the response, returning the response. So whatever we said, maybe it is working. We can just guess it right now. If we don't know how to develop a REST API, we can just assume maybe this is right. So later on, we will understand all these things very deeper. But today you have to understand, without even knowing things, how you can build if you approach it logically by working with definitely AI. Okay, so we did it. It's sounding good. We don't know whether it works. We have to see that. And that's what is a developer responsibility. AI can just give a lot of things. We need to verify it. Okay, now we will do how to test. First, we will say keep. So whatever changes it is, we are keeping it. What it is saying, open this URL in the browser. Okay, in whatever your port is there. Default port is 8080. Maybe it did not really read what is our port from that file. So it is suggesting just in the browser, you do it like this. What is our port? Our port of the application is 8082. So that's it. It is saying you just try to launch it like this and you should get the result. Now, in order to do that, we know that currently we have, for every change which happens in the code, we need to do restart. So we will be doing a restart right now. So we will close this, terminate the current thing. Okay. Then we will be, everything is saved. We will do right click, run as Spring Boot app. Okay. And you have to keep verifying whether the application is up or whether it breaks. Looks like the application is up. How do you know application is up? Okay, Tomcat started on so and so port. There is option of red mark. So means option to terminate. Means if it is up, then only the option to terminate is coming. There are no compilation problems. If there is any compilation problems, it will come into the problems related tab. So there is nothing to compile also. Compilation errors are not there. Everything is saved also because these buttons are inactive. So be careful in the initial days with all of these things, because generally freshers, juniors, they lose a lot of time in these basic stuff. They forgot to save, they forgot to handle this, and then they're like wasting half an hour in just basic stuff. So maintain this checklist. Okay, we did the stuff. AI did basically, but yeah, we have it up. Let's verify whether it works. Okay, so we go here and this is the URL. We copy this URL and we just go to the browser and then we come here and we launch. And guys, it is working. You give 3 and 4 and then it is giving 7. So you give something else, it is adding the numbers. The add method which you have written is now accessed from an outer software, nothing but from the browser. When I deploy this code into, let's say, AWS and give it to you guys, you will be able to even access it. Or if I tell my public IP of the laptop, not required to really go into AWS also. If I tell you the public IP of my laptop, and if my firewall is allowing connections to come from outer world with this port accessibility, you can access it from my laptop right now also. What does this mean? The add method which we have written is accessed from the outer world. And how it is happening, we don't know. Framework is doing so many things for that. Framework is somehow taking this kind of a request, running through the Tomcat, and then Spring is somehow properly calling our controller. And then it is somehow taking these parameters, giving to it properly, and then we called it to the service layer, and it is functional. So guys, the business logic is executing. Are you clear with this so far, guys? That was awesome. Team, are you clear with this? Please give a quick confirmation. Without even knowing how to write a REST API, we build our first application where we are exposing our APIs. Team, is this clear? This was good stuff. Are we clear with this, guys? Today you are supposed to build this. Yes, today you are supposed to build this. Think step by step, build it logically, and it will be good. Okay? Very good. Some of you guys might already know how to do, but even, okay, try to use internet and your thinking not about your past memory. On the fly, think, reason, and build, and you will find real good approach in this, right? Don't try to memorize and do. That's a college school approach. You need to think on the fly, build on the fly. We are able to do it without even knowing. And guys, now try to imagine, fresher comes from college in company, and that guy does not know anything. Within 6 months, he's building all these applications. Imagine confidence of that person is where, or if within 6 months I learned so many things and I'm able to build this. And you compare this thing with maybe people who are not at job. What happens, guys? Confidence level is purely different in people. Once you start working into the companies, you will build so many applications. Your confidence will be right. Okay, hey, I can do so many things. You go in for interview, you will be a very confident person. Versus somebody who has not really worked in IT, they will be nervous in interview. They will be lack of confidence. Why? Simple reason is you need to practice these things by yourself, by thinking, not like a student memorizing, but logically engaging your brain and thinking, right? So build it today. Maza aayega. Do it as per Git. Save things there. Write the APIs. Test it. You will feel great about yourself. By today, end of the day, you will feel proud about yourself. Ki, wow, I am able to do this logically. How the code works, we have not studied that yet, but it works. And that's how you have to start building. And now we can understand it as the future days go. So guys, thank you for all the confirmations. Let's have a quick look here. So as soon as what have we modified? We don't really have to see the code to see what we have modified. We can simply check here what is modified. Okay, math controller is a new class that we created, which is taking this, whatever parameters we are passing, the numbers, it's taking, calling the service layer, and this is working. So we say this is good. We created an interface, which is just with this method. So we want this also. And then we created an implementation, and this is also done. Okay, 3 things, sounds good. Add API is exposed for users. That's it. You do a commit, and then you keep shipping these kind of things into your cloud location. Just keep pumping it, pushing it there. Okay? And that's the beauty about this. Now, furthermore improvements are required. What is that improvement? Or whenever we are making any changes, we have to manually restart it. We don't want to manually restart. Is there any way? Yes, there is a way. We can use Devtool dependency. If you are having this Devtool POM dependency, whenever you save, automatically your Spring Boot application will start. That's it. We don't want to every time stop it, start it, stop it, start it. It is going to kill so much of our time. We want that whenever we are saving, this keeps starting. How can we achieve this? Devtool dependency. So developers will use all these side support softwares to speed up their life. So we use GitHub Copilot. Now we will use a Devtool dependency. How to add a new dependency? Okay, simple. We will go to internet for that, right? And then we will say Devtool Maven dependency. Okay. Now AI is also there. This Google guys, they have also added like this. Okay, you can simply add it like this. Next, you go to the Maven repository. You can add the dependencies from Maven repository also. You go to this, check the latest stable version. Simply come here, copy this piece of code, copy. This is your dependency configuration for Devtool. You come back, go to the pom.xml. Next, wherever you have the dependencies tag, this is one of the way of adding. Wherever is the dependencies tag, you have 2 dependencies here, web dependency, test dependency. Below that, now we want to add third dependency. what do you need to know about these dependencies? Fine, under dependency tag, it should be available. Second, ID is going to tell you if you're creating any version related. So first of all, always recommended approach is don't use any version here and try to see whether it really compiles. What will happen? If you don't use the version, it will use Spring Boot related version, whichever is compatible to you. Okay, so few things you have to remember about dependency. So we will add dependency into our pom.xml whenever, and we will add a lot of dependencies as we go forward building that project. Whenever you add a dependency, you add it inside pom.xml. Point number 2, it will be added under this dependencies tag. Point number 3, try to avoid version and see whether it compiles. If it is having any kind of problems, then you need to include the version whichever is compatible to your project. Currently, it is not giving us any problem, so this is good. So, guys, what is our learning about dependencies? So, using DevTool dependency, search for, don't write it, just understand. Search for DevTool dependency from MVN repository. Next, add the configuration in pom.xml. Next, don't include version and check if it's working. What will happen? Automatically, the version compatible for your Spring Boot application, Spring Boot will be considered. If it gives error, then you need to find the right version compatible to your project and include in pom.xml. Where will you find it? Internet. Nobody knows these things. They go to internet, they see, oh, this is my project, this is what it is, please do it. They will ask AI, they will go to internet, they will read some blogs, and they will figure out. That's how you have to do. Get out of your nutshell. You don't have to memorize it. You need to use internet as your extended memory. Internet is your extended memory. You have your information there. You don't have to have everything in your brain. Go there, use, search, find, decide, include. That's how you will be logically growing, not by memorizing things. So understand things, understand the concepts, then work with the internet to build amazing applications. Okay, so guys, we have done this. After this, what? Any change that you do in pom.xml, I highly recommend people to always do clean package and then start your application. Okay, so you can do Maven updates and all those things, but generally, whenever you are touching pom.xml, I highly suggest you first save these changes. Next, where is our console? Okay, so console, you stop the current one, terminating it. Okay, next, save all, no compilation problem. Next, build it, right click, run as, Maven build, clean package, no need of this skip. So skipping the test. Okay, it is done. Next, you start your application, right click, run as Spring Boot app. Before going to testing, always make sure you are coming here properly. 8082, it is good. You come back to the browser and then you do a refresh. Okay, it is working. You make this, let's say 400, and it becomes 403. Changes are working. We added Devtool. What is Devtool? It should automatically restart whenever you save. Let's test that. So we will go to what? Let's say math controller, or we will go to the service. Okay, math service. Instead of now adding this, let's add a random number and add that also. Okay, so we just for testing purpose, add random number from 1 to 100 to this returned value. Okay, int random. Okay, so we don't have to remember the coding. AI is going to do that for us. And then we will just put something random here. Okay, done. You made some changes. Let's do a save. I'm doing a save all. Restart happened automatically. Did you see console? The restart happened automatically. Okay, let's look at it once more. I'm giving some enters here. I'm giving some enters here. Let's do a save. Restarted is happening automatically. Why? Devtool is enabled. So now your life is simple. Whenever you do changes, you don't have to stop and manually start it. Devtool will take care of these kind of things for you. Again, Devtool is a Spring Boot related feature, rapid application development. We will speak about Spring Boot in the coming next week, but please be aware, it is all faster application development, right? Okay, so changes are done. We added some random number. Let's go here and we will just try to refresh it. Okay, every time now different values coming, because on top of addition, some randomness is also applied. Okay, so guys, everyone, please write it into your notepad. For your IDE, okay, enable GitHub Copilot dependency. That is point number 1. For your IDE, enable GitHub Copilot dependency. That is point number 1. Point number 2, add Devtool dependency. Dependency for automatic restarts when you save new changes into project. That is the second thing. Everyone, please quickly complete it. Focus is required, guys, and work on your logic. Okay, not your mugging power. Logic pe kaam karo. Understand things, make reasoning, think what is right, what is wrong, why we do some things, what if you do it in some other manner, then what is going to happen. Start this thinking process in your brain. Then you can build any application in any programming language. Don't just learn Java. Learn the art of building applications. And that is going to be amazing because the future needs dynamic adaptability. Chalo guys, please write these 2 things. Once you're done, please quickly confirm. Then we will go to the next point. Okay, some other guys have completed. Very good. Multiple members completed. Awesome team. Okay, now let's go to the further. Few more experiments are there. Guys, everyone please focus. Yes, today again 1:30 we will be closing the session, so 10 more minutes to go. So here we are. Just see currently what is happening, guys. You go to the browser. Everyone please focus. We go to the browser and we are calling this. There is nothing printed behind the screen, but the code is running, but nothing is printed in the screen. Generally, what do you do in core Java? System.out.println. So when the code is executing, you want some statements. Okay, it is called as logging. Okay, it is called as what? Logging support. When your project runs, log messages should be printed. Guys, try to understand the importance of logging. Even though currently we have a working add method, we cannot deploy this into production. This will never be deployed into production. Why? Because when the code is executing, nobody knows what is happening. It is working, it is functional, but it is not going to be deployed, never going to be deployed in production. Why? Because it does not know what came in the request, what we are returning. It has no information. Just imagine you use some online websites or banking application and something goes wrong. You call the customer support, okay, hey, it's not working or something went wrong. If they say, we don't know what happened, will you ever use that kind of project again? No, you will not. So please understand, logging is a critical aspect of project development. Don't take it light, that system.out.println. If those things are not done properly, we cannot go to production. It is that serious. The way you do coding and building application, like that, logging is a must. That is the first thing you have to understand. Okay? If you don't have proper logs, you cannot deploy your application in production. We need to know what happens when your application runs. Very important. Very important, very important, very important. Okay, that is point number one. Logging is mandatory. Point number one. Point number two, you don't do logging using system.out.println. Don't do logging using system.out.println. There are a lot of problems with that. Some other day we will discuss. Right now, not required. There are a lot of problems with that. So in the projects, we don't use system.out.println. Then what do we use? Okay, there are multiple libraries available which we can use for logging. Okay, just try to imagine here. We discussed about this yesterday. Framework is somebody else has written the code. So fine, you have now framework into the system. And now you are building your application. So you have the framework support. Okay, very good. But guys, not just the framework. In the real world, there are so many other people, they have simply written their own small projects also, which is really amazing. So they are not full-fledged frameworks, but they are still some kind of projects which is really useful. And these we simply refer to as libraries. And these libraries will also come to you in the form of jar files into your project. So you will not just get framework, you will also get these libraries. And basically, in your project class path, you will have all these framework jars, and you will have these multiple libraries. They all will be there in your class path. Now, please understand, logging is so critical that by default, Spring Boot provides you with the logging support using the libraries which Spring Boot is giving by default. Means it is already there in the project class path. And that is Slf4j with log back. Guys, this is the library support already provided by Spring Boot application. Slf4j with logback. What is this and all? No problem. Later, it's a 3 hours topic about understanding these things in detail. But for now, just know it. You should not use system. First, logging is mandatory. Without logging, we cannot deploy it in production. Point number two, you cannot use system.out.println. N number of problems are there. Point number three, which one should we use? Spring is by default providing Slf4j with logback as the library. It is already there in the project. What does it mean? There are some people in the world, they have built some kind of code for, let's say, logback is the actual library, where they have written some classes and interfaces. Okay, they have written some classes and interfaces, let's say logger. And in this logger, they have already written some method of how to write statements. If you have this jar with you, you don't have to then do anything else. You just need to get the object of these loggers and just call some methods of that. So point is, instead of using system.out.println, you will create objects of some other classes which is inside these libraries and use it for logging purpose. Okay, so guys, everyone, please open up your notepad and write down these 3 main points. Point number 1, logging is mandatory for project. Without that, we cannot deploy to production. That is point number 1. Point number 2, don't use system.out.println. N number of problems are there. If you understand what is this, out is an object of some class and then println is a method. So what do you need? You need just an object and a method, and then things get printed. So don't use system.out.println. Then what should we use? Okay, use some specialist library for logging. Point number 4, Spring Boot provides default support for Slf4j with logback. This library. Earlier log4j was there. There were some problems. It improved. Log4j version 2 came. And the creators of log4j itself has further built this logback, which is much more advanced. And then with Slf4j, okay, this is a common wrapper on top of that. In future, we will discuss about all these things. For now, just understand, this is a wrapper on top of your logging libraries. And Spring is by default providing this support to you. We don't have to find these libraries add. It is already there in the class path. So what is going to be our point number 5? We need to get the objects from this library and call some methods which will print log statements. That is what is our aim. Guys, everyone, please write down these. Please write down this. Once you're done with these 5 steps, please confirm. Logging concept. Logging is mandatory. Don't use system.out.println. What should we use? Specialist libraries. Spring Boot is default offering Slf4j with logback. It is really good, latest, stable. In project, we will use this one. We just need to get an object of a class defined by this library, call certain method, and we will do it. Once you have written with these 5, please confirm, guys. Okay, multiple members are confirming. Awesome. Let's apply this. Okay, let's apply this. Now, we don't know how to apply, right? But we now know the concept. We don't know how to create this object. We know the concept. Let's use AI to build the application. That's what, if you have the correct conceptual knowledge in the current time, building application is very simple. So let's see how exactly we will do here. Let's open up a new tab so that we can work around. We will say in both controller and service layer, we need to add Slf4j with logback loggers. Okay, use info method. So what is this info method? No need to worry. The way println method is there, like that info method is there. Use info method to print all critical values when add functionality is executing. Okay, let's see what comes out. Let it make some decisions. It went to the controller class first. It is reading the class, read file. It is coming up with a plan to add a few things in the math controller. Okay, it edited it and math controller is ready. What is the difference? Okay, just see, it added this new logger class. Using this statement, we are able to add a logger. And how is this guy using it? Okay, logger.info. Like that, it is logging the values. Sounds good. We should not use system.out.println. We need some other way. So it is saying use this logger object, and then it is saying call in this manner. Sounds good. Let's go to the service, and it is now printing what is the incoming val1, val2, and what is the result that we are returning. So important things are printed also. So this is making sense. Let's go to the service layer to see what this guy is doing. Here also, again, logger object is created and it is printing all the important information, what we got in, what is the generated random value, what is the final return value, all critical things. The way you do system.out.println, it is doing it all and sounds good. Let's do keep. Okay, let's do a keep and let's look at it closely. Math controller. So in the math controller, it created an object of logger. It is based upon Slf4j. How can we say that? Control Shift K. org.slf4j.logger. So yes, it is using Slf4j library. Internally, logback object is going to come to you whenever you do this. Once you do this, you are getting one object. On that object, instead of doing system.out.println, you will do this object.info, and whatever val1, val2 came is printed. Then you call the service layer. Whatever service response came is also printed. Okay, and then you are returning it. Important things are tracked. Now, let's go to the service layer. Here also, whatever incoming values are there, it is val1, val2 printed. Whatever random thing you calculated, that is also printed. Whatever result you calculated, that is also printed, and then returned it back. Sounds good. Now, let's do a save. Let's Devtool restart our application. Okay, application is also restarted. Now we will go here and we will make a call to see what happens again. So here we go, here we are, and here we hit it again. We got the reply, but that's not the focus. The focus is here. What happened behind the screen? Logs should tell you what happened. Okay, we received the request in math controller. We received two values, 3 and 400. Then we called the math service. Add method was called with the same values, 3 and 400. Then we generated a random number with the value 86. Then we calculated these two things together, adding 3 and 400 with random number 86, and we got it 489. And now we have returned that to the controller, and controller is returning this 489 back to us. Logs tell the entire story. And how easy it is to add. Don't use system.out.println. In every class, you create a logger, and then you simply add logger.info. Okay? So guys, are we clear with this? Are we clear with this? I think let's stop here. It's already 1:36. We will take the attendance and then tomorrow we will further continue. Tomorrow AWS deployment is going to happen, guys. This service which we have written today, we will deploy it into AWS EC2 machine, and then testing will happen there. So again, very important topic. Tomorrow we will discuss that. Okay. First, let's take the attendance. Good stuff, everyone. Today you are supposed to do the practical. Okay, guys, please continue doing the practical. Whatever we coded today, you have a lot of work to do. Please do it. So this is the attendance link. Okay, here we go. Okay, good. In 2 days, 1500 members have marked the attendance. Today is the third day. Consistency is the key, guys. You can learn, you can catch, but are you dedicated to learn and be consistent and then practice on that? That is difference between success and not success. Okay. So guys, attendance code for today is 1234, and here is the link. Let me paste it to you. Okay, everyone, please mark this. And tomorrow AWS topic is going to happen. Attendance code for today is 1234, and here is the link. Okay, chalo guys, everyone, please mark this. Please mark the attendance. And guys, there is this one thing to even discuss with you guys. Firstly, please mark the attendance. Okay, 1234. Okay, now please note down this thing, guys. Maybe a few more minutes. Week 1 will happen or is happening publicly open on YouTube, where we are connecting Monday to Friday, daily roughly 3 to 3.5 hours we are connecting. From week 2 onwards, public sessions will not happen. No public sessions. From week 2, we will connect internally on Google Meet. Okay, so Google Meeting link will be there. There we are going to connect. Okay, now in order to continue for week 2 onwards, there is some enrollment criteria. So it is not going to be publicly open sessions from week number 2. It will be based upon certain enrollment criteria. You need to make a decision by the end of week 1 whether you want to continue into 2 months of trainee program, or whether you want to continue into 4 months of trainee program. Okay, so if you are doing it for 2 months, we will be working on PayPal project here. If you are doing it for 4 months, so 2 months is going to be 100 hours of live. You're doing it for 4 months means it is going to be 200 plus hours of live, and we will be working on 2 things here. One is going to be PayPal project, another one is going to be Stripe project. Okay, and for continuing here, there is going to be enrollment criteria. It is not going to be publicly open sessions. Okay, and you know it is very valuable and very groundbreaking. That's what it is. Now, how to enroll, what is going to be the overall plan, we will discuss it by end of week 1. Nothing but in Friday session, we will discuss about further enrollment criteria. Okay, now point is, for the first week, whatever we did, practically complete it. And based upon this, if you feel that yes, this project is really valuable for you, okay, then you can decide to join as part of the 2 months or the 4 months by the end of week 1. And but if you feel okay, no, you're not feeling okay, it is not going to be that valuable for you, based upon the 5 days you have to make that decision. If you feel no, this is not right for you, then I will suggest you not to join from week 2 onwards. So basically, you need to see if you are able to get maximum value from the program. accordingly we will do. But in order to understand that value, you need to complete week 1 first. Okay, that is what is going to happen. And all the members who are enrolling for week 2, for them trainee offer letter will be issued. So it is not going to be for everyone. Those who are enrolling into week 2, trainee offer letter is going to be issued. And then there are multiple other details as we move into the week 2. The regular demos will be there, and additional other tracking is going to happen. Those who are meeting these demo criteria and other things, for them by end of 2 months or 4 months, whatever you have opted for, you will be getting trainee completion letter. So this is how we will be moving further. So tomorrow we will connect, and then Friday also. The plan for tomorrow, Thursday, is working with AWS. And then on Friday, we will be understanding PayPal related integration, nothing but the entire project overview. And at the same time, we will understand how to continue into week 2 with 2 months or 4 months approach. Whatever is more suitable for you, accordingly you can decide. So that is what is the full plan. And please make sure on a daily basis, you are doing things practically. Okay? Chalo guys, that's it for today. We completed a lot of things. We will reflect them into Jira tomorrow, and we will be connecting tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., working with AWS. Okay, working with AWS. Chalo guys, thank you everybody for your time. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Okay, chalo team, have a great day. So I'm stopping the YouTube stream. Practice is the key, guys. Practice is the key.